Yeah, and Mark Zuckerberg's making all that money, but our ads are not working. Yeah, that really pisses you off. And who is in business and wants more clients? All of us. Okay. Rob, is that ready to go? Good. Okay, welcome to everyone on Facebook Live. And we just got to fix that sound, haven't we? Guys, can I just lay down some ground rules, though, is that if you are politically correct, really sensitive, this is not the place for you to be, okay? So there will be the odd joke, and I think I criticise tall people, short people, Australians, Koreans, UK, Americans, Mexicans, pretty much everyone. So if you are really thin-skinned and you don't like a joke, then I would suggest you might like to leave now. And I want to say that right at the very front, even for Facebook Live people, because I believe that these sorts of things should be entertaining instead of just training. I've been to seminars, like a gazillion of them, and I pretty much hate every single one of them because the guy up the front is normally a wanker, and there's no difference in that tonight. But the thing is that most of them are based on a premise that get them high and make them buy. Anybody sort of relate to that? Been to a seminar where that all happens? You jump up and do the Jetstar style jumps and they tell you to run to the back of the room? Okay. We won't be doing that. However, who thinks I'm doing this because I love you? No, I don't even know you. I'm doing this because we make money out of it. So therefore, I have a couple of people from time to time say to me, oh, look, it's free, but I bet you're going to sell something. Like, oh, genius, you know? What do you think? I have nothing to do on a Thursday night. I just thought I'd give away shit to everybody and not sell anything. Of course, there's a sell in this, but you aren't going to find that the doors are locked and you won't be able to leave unless you buy something. I'm doing what I hopefully will teach you to do, and that is sampling. What I'm doing here tonight for Facebook Live people and for you is sampling. And who at the moment in their business, no matter whether you are B2B or B2C, who does sampling? Who does sampling? Okay, well, out of the room here, we've only got 3 or 4 people put their hand up. Hopefully by the end of what you see here tonight, you'll actually sit down and do sampling yourself, because I believe that the fish shop, who sponsors the local little netball team, is pissing his money up against the wall. Because last time I went to we've got 6 children, they're all adults now, but for many, many years we'd go to their netball game or their soccer game, and it'd be sponsored by the local butcher, baker, candlestick maker, and not once did I see any parent going, oh, if I just get down the name of that butcher on the back of jersey number 7, we get some meat from him tonight. And so therefore, if you're doing that, that's fine, but just keep on pissing your money up against the wall and feel good about it because you're helping that little soccer club. But it won't sell any more sausages for you. And what you're going to find here tonight is that the sort of advertising that I'll recommend to you is the exact opposite to what you've been told by just about 99 out of 100 other people. And it's a format called direct response marketing. I don't take any ownership in direct. We're going to have to really fix that sound, aren't we? I don't take any ownership in direct response marketing. But what I do take ownership in is the wow factor that we put to it. Okay, what do you do?
Get nice and close to person.
Okay, yeah. Just I went to a Catholic school and I had a De La Salle brother that looked very much like you. That's all. Take it. And he used to come forward like that. So anyway, the thing is that if I was to ask you, who in the room here at the moment has ever bought anything off an ad on the side of a bus? How many people are going to put their hand up? We got nobody. Whoever here bought anything off the back of a taxi? Nobody. And yet there are tens of millions of dollars today being spent on the side of buses and the back of taxis. And it's all pinging it up against the wall, okay? Who here has ever bought anything off those electronic signs that run around the NRL Rugby League games every weekend, or the AFL? Anybody ever bought anything off one of those electronic signs? Or for that matter, forget about whether or not you bought anything, ask yourself if you've ever noticed those signs. So, you know, when you're watching the football, you go, oh look, I just want to freeze frame that, I think I can see a BMW sign there. And this is being peed up against the wall every single weekend. And it's because you are, well not you, but a whole lot of you. You know what, I think I better point this out now. I'm a speaker, and so therefore what comes with that is an ego. And if we don't get some more reaction, I can't ask for Facebook Live people to do that, but if we don't get them for I do what's called a dummy spit, a sissy fit, and I just storm out and go, that's the last time I'm doing a seminar. So can we do that again? We get them to actually taste your product so they'll fall in love with your brand. Oh, much better, much better. Okay, so let me ask you this. Who thinks in the room here tonight, and Facebook Live, same thing, who thinks you need a good product or good service to make money? It's sort of a given, isn't it? Okay. Who thinks McDonald's makes the best hamburger in the world? You don't need a good product, a good service. We have lots of clients in our coaching program that have got shit products, but they're making a lot of money. And the reason they're making a lot of money is because, what do you think? They've got something system. They've got to start with them. They've got a good marketing system. You can't tell me that all of us would say McDonald's makes the best hamburger in the world, but have they got a brilliant marketing system? You better believe it. But nonetheless, as brilliant as their marketing system is, I would sack their marketing manager tomorrow within 5 minutes if I was given the role to run McDonald's. Anybody want to have a stab for $1 million, because we've got lots of money to give away here tonight, it's like a game show. For $1 million, who can pick the reason that I would sack the McDonald's marketing manager tomorrow within 5 minutes if I took over that business? Anybody want to take a stab at that? $1 million? Come on, someone. Sorry? The money he or she's charging to me. No, have a look around. Sorry?
The reason is they're spending all the money on mass marketing, on media, and they're not actually getting to know who their customers are and direct marketing to their customers. Good,
Les. If we had a microphone, probably everyone would have heard that, but okay, we'll get a microphone. What Les said, for anybody who's watching on Facebook Live, is that they are spending all their money on mass marketing rather than, if you like, on localised and direct response marketing. That's part the truth, so you only get $500,000. The real truth is that have a look at around the room here tonight. Do you notice that you've all got coloured lanyards on? And do you know that when you filled in the registration form, we asked you everything but your blood group? You know, what sort of business you're in, you know, B2B, what sort of turnover have you got, da-da-da-da-da-da. And so therefore what we've done is that we've segmented the people in the room into certain categories of industries, whether you're B2B or B2... And the reason I do that is so that when I put this show on, if everyone in this room were B2C, you're selling to consumers, do you think I would have adjusted the slides? I think so. Because if you were B2C and I started showing B2B wow factor stuff, I think you'd probably drop off pretty quickly. It's called message to market match. What we want to do is make sure that the message I give you guys tonight will match your expectations. And that's why when you register for one of our events, we'll ask quite a few questions. It's so that I can deliver the best value I possibly can. My view is that that's all built on on collecting a data. You've got to get a database. And McDonald's today have 1.7 million people going through their restaurants in Australia, and they don't have a clue who they are. I would sack their marketing manager bang like that. Fancy having 1.7 million people a day slip through your fingers. It's incredible. They even give you now a receipt to pretend that they're making the hamburger in the back of the shop. And you sit there for a minute or two or three waiting for your hamburger. Why wouldn't they get you to at least put something on that receipt? Ask a question. Ask them to, on the menu, you could say, text this and you could win McDonald's food for a year or win a trip to Fiji or whatever it might be. They don't do that. But you know what? You can go into any restaurant in Australia tonight and you can spend $100, $200, $500, $1,000 and guess what? You'll leave without them asking who you are. It's just incredible. There's nobody collects data, and we wonder why Amazon is going to wipe us all out. Okay? It's so simple. I'll show for you in one of our slides here a restaurant in Melbourne called the Lobster Cave, and they came onto my program a couple of years ago, and he was spending $500,000 a year on newspaper and radio advertising. I said, well, you're paying me whatever it was, a few grand a month. He was a private coaching client. I said, how about I save you $500,000 in the first month? You give me 3, I'll save you $500,000. He said, right, a smart ass, how are you going to do that? And so what I said is we're going to incentivise each of your wait staff with $1 for every name and contact detail that they get. So therefore, if you were at this table and there's 5 of you, and let's say David was paying the bill, wouldn't matter. I would give a name and address entry form to all 5 of you, and I would say fill that in because you're in the chance to win a dinner for 10 of all your friends. And you know what, 92% of people have filled that in. He's up to 80,000 now on his database. This was a couple of years ago, right? When we want to fill his restaurant, it's easy. All we do is at mid-afternoon, he walks into his office, which is above the restaurant, and he yells out to his long-suffering secretary, Cheryl, how many seats out of our 180 have been filled for tonight? How many have been booked? And Cheryl says, oh, look, we've got 72 of the 180 booked. He goes, well, you better get one of JD's bullshit SMS messages out and send it out. So he'll go to my text message, I put together about a dozen for him, and he might pick number 4. And number 4 says, look, hi Jim and Jenny, Chef Pierre would like to actually invite you to come to our restaurant tonight because we have a special lobster tail for 2 offer for $79. Now nobody leaves that restaurant until they've spent $204 on average, okay? It's a pretty expensive restaurant, and main meals start at $51. So you get a bottle of water there and it'll set you back $30. So the thing is that the wow factor gets them in, and guess what? They don't advertise on the side of buses, they don't have to build their brand, they don't have to do any of that. Guess what? Cheryl comes back in 10 minutes later after this SMS message has gone out just to 1,000 of the database. You don't annoy the whole database, just send 1,000 at a time. So 10 minutes after 3 o'clock, she comes back in and says, we're all booked out. Bang, gone. And he's the only restaurant in the world that's booked 100%, 364 nights a year. He's never got an empty seat. Who thinks that's pretty straightforward but clever? Yeah. Nobody does it. You can't do it if you don't collect data. Do you think that if you don't invest in our program that we show you tonight, and plenty of you won't, that's fine, it's not for you, that's fine. Do you think you're going to cop maybe an email or two over the rest of your life from us, unless you say, look, I want to opt out? Of course. That's the whole idea of collecting a database. And if you're not collecting a database at the moment, that's the first thing you should do tomorrow morning, is go back and work out how you can collect a database and how you can change the front page of your website to have a data collection facility. So for example, in the room here, and I can ask the same question on Facebook Live, who has a data collection facility on their homepage at the moment? Very few, okay? We're probably talking about 20% of the room here. I don't know what it would be in Facebook Live. You have to have a data capture facility on your homepage, because otherwise you're having a dinner party like we're having here tonight and you don't know who came. Anybody in the room would normally have a dinner party but you wouldn't know who was there? Well, that's what you're doing when you spend all that money on Google AdWords and all that money on any other PPC advertising and all that money on SEO, and you actually get people to come to your website, but you're letting them slip through your fingers because you haven't given them a reason to give you their details. And normally the reason is very simple. You can just give them a free report. So if I was a kitchen manufacturer or refurbisher, I would say, listen, you've come to this website obviously because you're interested in Italian kitchens. We've got a free report on the 3 biggest lies that most kitchen renovators will tell you. Hint, hint, that really isn't Italian granite. Now, if you're interested in a kitchen, do you think you'd download that free report to find out what the 3 lies are? I think you would. And then you'll be really surprised when that guy rings you up an hour later and says, how can I help you? You go, well, wait a minute, how did you know I wanted a kitchen? But nobody, well, when I say nobody, the vast majority of people don't. Before I kick off on the first slide, let me ask you this. Who in the room believes that the Director of First Impressions has now been replaced? It used to be Susie, she'd answer the phone, hello ABC Builders or XYZ Accountancy. Who thinks that she's number 2 now behind something else? You want to take a stab for $1 million? Who do you think the Director of First Impressions is? Your website. And yet when I looked at all of your websites, because keep in mind we asked you to fill in the registration form, there's a few people do silly things to put XXXXX, but most people actually put their, I don't know why they do that, because you get free advice here tonight if you actually put the website in. But the point is that when I looked at all of your websites, I know none of you want to be told that you've got an ugly baby, but you've all got ugly websites. Okay? There would be probably 2 or 3 exceptions out of all the people in the room here tonight, but pretty much most of you have got awful, not just ugly, we're talking awful websites. And the reason that you've got awful websites is because you went to the wrong place for your website. You went to a website design studio. You went to a website developer. Who's come across too many website developers? Excuse me. Oh, I did the flick. You told me not to do that, didn't you? It was the ponytail flick, but I never did that. Who's come across too many of these graphic artists that are good marketers? Anybody? You see, the thing is, they're a great artist, and they're probably very good. And some of you have a pretty website, but you won't have one that converts. So you're getting traffic there through PPC or Google AdWords, whatever you're doing, but I bet you your conversion rate is low because you don't have a website where there's a home page which is designed for direct response. Who in the room at the moment, and again I can't get people to put their hand up at Facebook Live, but who in the room here at the moment understands the value of direct response? Who's doing that? Who thinks they're doing direct response at the moment? Wow, only a couple right here. Well, that's interesting. And who thinks that what I just said a moment ago makes sense, and that is if we flip that model about getting them to fall in love with your brand so that they'll taste your product, if we actually flip that model to get them to taste your product so that they'll fall in love with your brand, who thinks you'll make a bucket load more money out of that? Yeah, okay. So in the first 15 minutes, who thinks what I've just told you so far is just common sense? It's just common sense. Okay, I wish some of you put your hand up and said, no, you're a wizard, but unfortunately it's just common sense. And the crazy part about it is that you're so busy in your business with the operational day-to-day procedures, you're not stopping to think about what's common sense. And what's common sense in the Facebook world is that every single ad that you do with Facebook, who's doing Facebook by the way? How many people are advertising on Facebook? Okay. Every single ad that you do on Facebook needs to send someone to a landing page. It's called a two-step sell. You don't want to try a one-step sell on Facebook. People are being interrupted as they're scrolling through looking for people wearing t-shirts too tight walking along the beach, telling you how to live your life. And they're too busy looking about what, I don't know, had for breakfast and all this other stuff that goes on. And so when you interrupt them and you say, look, I want to sell you something, there's not a chance in hell that they're going to spend a lot of time with you if it's a one-step sell. In other words, if that ad says, ring me now or contact me now. What you want to do is make sure that that ad intrigues them sufficiently so that they will click for more information, and when they go and click it, then they'll go through to a landing page which gives them something in return for their, for the details, okay? But yeah, so let me just tell you a little bit about what tonight's all about. We don't have this. Give me a second, I'll just turn that on. Okay. Give me this here. This hotel here. I live on the Gold Coast, but I decided to stay here last night. I had some meetings in here today. I've come from Sydney originally, but I'm like all the Mexicans. Who lives on the Gold Coast in here? Quite a lot, okay. And who came from somewhere else before you lived here? It's sort of the Orlando, isn't it, of Australia? Okay, so the thing is that when I stopped here last night, 5 minutes after we registered, we get a knock on the door. And it was someone in their nice little outfit, and they said, oh, Mr. Dwyer, we'd just like to say thank you for choosing our hotel to stay at, because you've got all the other hotels and resorts on the Gold Coast, but you chose the Watermark. Thank you very much. We'd like to give you this as a gift. And it was a silver tray with Max Brenner style strawberries all cut up with the Cadbury chocolate, the milk, like a fondue like that. Who thinks that would be a knockout 5 minutes after you know? Now, Gail, my wife, was actually in the shower at the time, so therefore I ate them all before she got out. And when she said who was at the door, I said, I don't know, wrong number. But who thinks that is like an incredible wow factor that would leave an indelible mark in my mind if ever I was going to stay on the Gold Coast again? Everybody. Well, that's bullshit, because that never happened, okay? Because this hotel is run by morons, okay? And every hotel in the world is run by a moron, because they don't do this sort of stuff. How easy would it be to do that? And you know what? It'll cost about $2. I don't do supermarket shopping. I just spend too much money on chips and lollies, so I don't get asked anymore, which is like a plan. But I asked Gail, my wife, how much would that cost? And she said, oh, by the time you cut up, a dozen strawberries, it could look like 3 dozen. Probably going to cost you $2. So if the tariff for this particular hotel was, I don't know, $250, $300 a night, just put another $2 on. We'll never notice. Or just give up $2 of the $250, which might be even a better idea. It's so simple. Anybody here in the room here tonight, and I can ask the same question of anybody watching on their telephone, anybody here have a wow factor like that they actually have in their business that blows people away? You see, my business is called the Institute of Wow, and by probably another hour's time you'll say that it should be the Institute of Wank, but anyway, it's the Institute of Wow, and my mantra is all about making sure that you take their eyes off something beginning with P. Take their eyes off the price. You don't want to be selling anything on price, because if you do, then the guy down the road can easily match that or beat you in 5 minutes flat. But the guy down the road cannot match that, and you might say yes he can, but he won't. He won't. For 11 years, the Greater Building Society, which was one of my clients, they didn't advertise a home loan. They just said, get a home loan and you'll get a free something. Who want to take a stab at it? A free holiday, okay? And what we did is we took home loan interest rates right out of the picture. They were the only bank in 11 years that never advertised an interest rate. Can you believe a bank selling home loans not advertising an interest rate? We just said, get a home loan, get a free holiday. And it took their eyes completely off the price. They quadrupled their loans over and over and over and over again. It was the most successful home loan promotion in the world. And a few years into it, of course, we put Jerry Seinfeld behind it, took it to another level. And you'll see bits and pieces of that tonight. But that shows you what happens when you put a wow factor to something. Harvey Norman does it with 2 years interest free. McDonald's are experts at it. They've been doing it for 3 or 4 decades with the free Happy Meal toy in the Happy Meal box. If I asked any parent or grandparent in the room here tonight, could you tell me the price of a Happy Meal? I bet you probably couldn't tell me, but you bought a lot of them. Because that toy shuts the little rats in the back of the Trago up, and you just get 3 of them to shut the kids up. And the toy is the reason that the kids wanted the Happy Meal. So who in here at the moment believes that they've got a Happy Meal in their business? Because if you don't, you're in trouble. Anybody in here has got a Happy Meal? You're in trouble, okay? And the reason I say you're in trouble with a lot of, I guess, gusto is because I've dealt with every possible sort of business you can think of, A, from accountancy through to Z for Zoos, and if you don't go down the path of creating a wow factor and taking their eyes off the price, then you're destined to market your business, your products or services on price, price, price. And you can find the guy down the road will always drop his pants quicker than you, and therefore you're going to be in a race to the bottom. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in a race to the bottom. Okay, so therefore this is my business, the Institute of Wow. What I'm going to teach you here tonight is what I call avalanche lead generation. You may have responded to an advertisement that I put onto Facebook. By the way, incidentally, this room here tonight with, I don't know, 100 odd people has been filled exclusively through Facebook. We don't do any other advertising, okay? I used to take out ads in the Virgin magazine and, Jetstar and all that sort of stuff. But I just gave that up because Facebook is too easy. Once you actually get to know how to use Facebook, it's really, really easy. You just got to get to use it, that's all. Or get to know how to use it. So therefore, if you're not using Facebook, you should consider using it, but only with a two-step sell, which I'll go through a lot of samples. So we're going to talk about attracting people, converting them and keeping them. And attracting them, I'm saying, come up with a wow factor. Okay, come up with a wow factor. I don't know whether Facebook Live people can see that, but replace discounts with a wow bonus. And when you do come up with that wow factor, whether it's a Happy Meal toy or whether it's a trip to Fiji when you buy a motor car from your car dealership or whatever it might be, make sure that you have a time limitation or quantity limitation. Anybody want to take a stab at why you need a time limitation or quantity limitation for $1 million? Urgency factor, yep, okay, $1 million. Where did that come from? Just see Jody afterwards, okay? Monopoly money, but still. So therefore you want to make sure that you don't have fence sitters. Because the thing is, when you go to the car dealership and they say, look, we're going to throw in a free whatever. Now, it used to be air conditioning, but air conditioning's in every car now. But they'll throw in a free something. But it's dependent upon you making the decision today. So therefore you've got to learn how that works because that can double or triple your sales overnight. You don't want fence sitters. You want people who are going to get off the fence, and the only way you can get them off the fence is to give them a bonus, but that bonus is only available till, boom, we've only got 50, okay? Now, the second thing, convert, because it's great to attract people, but of course, how do you convert them? Well, through a systematic follow-up of leads. And of course, you can only convert them if you have collected, four-letter word starts with D, if you've collected data. So this stuff that I'm going to show you tonight, it is so simple. It is really so simple. And I shouldn't be saying that. I should be trying to paint myself out to be a wizard, but it is really common sense. But guess what? 95% of businesses in the world don't do this. 95% don't. So if you walk away here tonight, regardless of whether or not yes, there will be a sell. Obviously, I'm not doing this because I love you. I'm doing this because I get to sell once to many. Let me ask you, if I had not put this evening on and I had actually knocked on your door and said, could you give me 3 hours of your time, who would have given me that? Or maybe one, that's good. We could be related, I don't know. But the thing is that most of you won't. Most of you won't. Okay, and the thing is that what I want you to learn from here tonight, regardless of how much money I make, just learn how this works. This is just the fish shop handing out calamari samples outside the shop. And when you taste the calamari samples, you think, okay, that might be all right, I'll go into the fish shop. It's just called sampling, that's all it is. And the only time you've probably done it is when you are at an exhibition at the Sydney Entertainment Centre or maybe the Gold Coast Convention Centre, whatever it might be, because you've taken out a stand and you hand out, whatever it is, samples. Do it more regularly, both online and offline. Okay, so once you actually collected data, it's a systematic follow-up of email, SMS and phone. And then, of course, as I said before, you need to have a time-sensitive offer or quantity one. And in terms of keeping them, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're going to have regular communication with them. Who at the moment has a CRM system like a Aweber or Ontraport or Infusionsoft or ClickFunnels or something like that? Okay, can you just keep your hands high so I can pick how many in the room? Okay, just keep your hand up if you've got ClickFunnels. Okay, and what about Infusionsoft? Which many call Confusionsoft, yeah. Okay, and Ontraport? Rightio. And if that sounds Chinese to a few of you, all it is an automated customer relationship management system whereby you can sleep at night time and all your emails are going out right around the world for you, okay? Or if you're just in Australia, they're going out during business hours. But the whole idea of that is setting up an email funnel that goes out and it communicates with these people regularly, likewise you do with SMS, so that they think that you love them. Because you really would love them, I know that, so therefore they know that you love them. Because I love everyone that I send an email out to. It's Probably just because I'm just such a very nice person and very humble. One of my greatest assets is my humility. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, so therefore the other thing is, of course, you want to give them extraordinary custom experiences. Who's been to Disneyland? A lot of us these days. And if you've been to Disneyland, you've been to Universal Studios as well, no doubt. And who thinks Disneyland is very, very much different in terms of giving you wow experiences than Universal? They kill them, okay? If you go to Disneyland today and Universal tomorrow, you're going to be disappointed, because Disney understand that you're not looking for good customer service, you're looking for a wow experience. And what Disney has in their mantra is that they actually train their staff to never give good customer service, because they said that that's not going to be water cooler conversation on Monday morning. They're not worried about giving good customer service. They aim to give you knock your socks off extraordinary, unbelievable customer experiences. And that's what they do. Do you know that 90% of people who leave Disneyland, when they go home, guess what? Do you think they talk about the rides? No, they don't. And I know this, I've done a lot of Disney courses, so this is not coming from me, it's coming from Disney. Most people talk about the experiences. The fact that they dropped a bit of paper on the ground and someone will sweep it up straight away. The fact that whenever they asked for directions in Disneyland, everyone was just super duper happy. But they talk about the rides second. Disneyland put in all those magnificent rides, but they come second in any conversation. What comes first is the extraordinary custom experiences, like the strawberries with a chocolate fondue that should have been delivered to my hotel room, but I made that story up. Okay, so that's what I've told you before. Conventional advertising is to get them to fall in love with your brand so they'll taste your product, and what you're going to learn here tonight is to get them to taste your product so that they'll fall in love with your brand. Okay, Woolworths. Many years ago I was the national marketing guy in the Woolworths operation. And you might recall, anyone that's close to my vintage, we used to have continuity schemes there whereby we would encourage you to continue shopping at Woolworths, because there was a saver sheet system where every time you spent, I forget what it was now, $5, you got a stamp and you put it onto a saver sheet, and when you saved up that saver sheet, you got all these cookware for crazy, crazy cheap prices. Okay? And what that did at that time was keep a continuity mentality for shoppers, particularly women, of course. And when we finished doing that, we would do glassware. And then when we finished that, we'd do steaks and knives and all that sort of thing. Anybody my vintage that can sort of vaguely remember that sort of thing? Good, okay. Now, that's what's called a continuity promotion. And that's what's called, giving people a reward for sticking with you. And after I left Woolworths and set up my own business called Dynamic Ideas back in those days, it was a sales promotional business, and these are the guys that came knocking on the door. And I guess I'm just showing that slide for a bit of cred build, because I want you to know that I haven't just pulled this stuff out of my backside last week. This has been developed over a pretty decent period of time, and these are the guys that used to pay a few dollars for me to design it for them. Now, I don't care what business you're in. You can be a funeral parlour. We've got a funeral parlour in our coaching program in Washington. And I did take the piss out of him, because he was a big black American guy, and he saw me doing a conference over there, and he came up to me and said, by the way, my name's John Dwyer, but I get JD, okay? So if you're referring to me afterwards, you want to have a chat, JD, the other word that I normally get is dickhead. So therefore, if you say dickhead or JD, I will probably respond. Okay, so this American guy comes up at the end of my song and dance in Santa Monica, and he says, look, I've got a funeral parlour in Washington, and that's really going to put your wow factor to the test. Will this work for a funeral parlour? I said, mate, it'll work for any business. Doesn't matter, B2B, B2C, in your instance, B2D, business to dead people. And he said, well, okay, how would you do this? I said, oh, I don't know, give me a break. I've just been on stage for 8 hours. But I said, look, I'll tell you what, have you been to Australia? He goes, oh, yeah, I love it. I've been to Australia a few times. Big black guy. This guy was like huge, right? It made like a basketballer look small. So I didn't know whether to take the piss or not, because he could just step on me. And I said to him, okay, well, if you've been to Australia, you would have heard of flybys. And he goes, yeah, every time I went to a supermarket, they asked me, you've got flybys. I said, yeah, okay, well, what we'll do is set up for you is die-bys. And so therefore it will be a continuity scheme when if you actually refer a dead relative or friend, then you get points, you save them up to get headstones. And you should have seen him. He just looked at me, he thought I was fair dinkum, and he went, I don't think we can do that. I'm joking, please, we're not doing that. But yeah, so any business, and I won't bother reading them all out, but you can see there, landscapers, kitchen renovators, nursing homes, real estate, you name it, pretty much right across the board. Doesn't matter what business, theme parks for God's sake, we looked after theme parks. So this wow factor thing will work. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh yeah, look, the Happy Meal toy thing wouldn't work for me, or this direct response thing doesn't work for me, I'd rather just continue to sponsor the Brisbane Broncos and piss it up against the wall, then fair enough, you can leave here tonight and think that I was just, silly. But I'm telling you that if you take away the essence of this tonight, And obviously, yes, I'm going to give you an offer for me to do it for you, but nonetheless, if you don't do that, if you leave here tonight, take away the essence of this direct response stuff, which is measurable advertising, and just start to implement it tomorrow in your business, and you'll find it'll make a significant difference. You'll get it done quicker if you hang around an expert, of course. Okay, so therefore, let me just whiz through this. That's the 5 steps, okay? And what I'm going to do is show you how to get those in a moment. What I want to do though, who's in this servicing game? Who's in servicing where you actually might be an accountant, you might be a doctor, you might be a physiotherapist or a business coach, whatever. Okay, if you're in the servicing game, you might like to do what I'm about to show you here in this 4-minute video. What I found frustrating in my instance is that I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but there's only one of me. So every time I tried to replicate what I did with someone else, I'd get a Gen Y on and they'd complain that I'd burnt them out. This old fart burned out a Gen Y, which is really silly, but anyway, that's what I'd get. Or I'd be disappointed because, you know, you'll see here throughout tonight, I'll do website layouts, I'll put a marketing plan together, which will be 40 pages, I'll write copy for TV ads, it'll be radio, I'll sketch out all that sort of stuff. It all comes out of one person. And it's pretty hard, as much as it sounds like I'm showing off, to find that in many people. And so I thought, well, how do I actually leverage this, you know, what I think is reasonably unique skills and make money out of it? And so what I did is put together the largest library of marketing ideas in the world. And I can say that with my hand on my chest because I've looked everywhere. You will not find anything like this on the planet. And we called it Wow Central. It took us 2 years to put this library together. It's an online library. And essentially what happens is that if you're a butcher, you just go into this library and type in butcher, and everything I've ever done for a butcher will come up over the last 15 years. Only stuff that's worked. I don't put the ones that didn't work in there, okay? And if you're an accountant, likewise. If you just want to actually search by your industry, you can go into this library and just pick up everything I've ever done. Facebook ads, Google AdWords, letterbox brochures, radio ad, whatever it may be. And swipe that and put it into your business. And if you wanted to search by category, as in brochure, TV, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be, you can just type that in and it will show you exactly all the things you should be doing on Facebook, Instagram. I'll let the 4-minute video play because I think it's something that if you're in the service industry, you might like to swipe this tonight and just take it. I've got some clients that are already doing this and they are just opening up their funnel like crazy because all of a sudden they're showing that they aren't just a widget manufacturer. So I've got one in Sydney, for example, called Steam Master, and they sell carpet cleaning equipment to carpet cleaners. What do you think carpet cleaners want? Good equipment, or do they want to know how to get customers? What do you think would come first? Customers. I can go and get good equipment from anywhere. And this Steam Master guy knows that whatever vacuum cleaner he's got, the guy down the road's got pretty much, it might be a different brand, but carpet cleaners, you know, bloody vacuum cleaner's a vacuum cleaner. So what we've done for him is set his version up of this so that when cleaners come in and they go, look, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which one will I get my vacuum cleaner from? Which is 10 grand, by the way, the proper vacuum cleaners that these guys use. They're going to go with the guy that gives them all of the templates to use on Facebook and letterbox brochures and all that sort of stuff. So he actually has positioned himself as the Gordon Ramsay of the carpet cleaning industry. Do you think that's going to attract more people than if you just sold a vacuum cleaner? Of course it does. Okay, so we'll play this for you. Welcome to Wow Central, what I believe is the largest marketing ideas client attraction concepts in the entire world. This is a massive library of ideas. When you log in, you simply go to the swipe menu, and on that swipe menu, I'll give you just a little intro of what Wow Central is all about. You've got 2 choices when you're searching for concepts in Wow Central. You can choose from marketing category or business type. Let's say, for example, you decide in the first instance you're going for business type. You might say, okay, I want to see what businesses are in here and, you know, what things I can swipe for my company. Let's say you're an accountant and you want to pinch ideas for the accountancy business. You'll see here that we've got all sorts of things that I've done for accountants over the years. Videos, brochures, invitations to events, the direct mail letters. We're talking about Facebook advertising. You might, for example, say, okay, well, I'm not an accountant. Let's say that you're in the healthcare industry. You can click on the healthcare icon and then that will take you through to a whole menu of things that I've done for the healthcare industry. You'll see there for a chiropractor, you'll see for dental surgeries, you'll see doctors. Let's just say, for example, a dental surgery brochure you wanted to swipe because you thought it looked pretty good. Well, you might be in the weight loss business and say, okay, well, there's a weight loss brochure that JD's done for someone. It looks like Wesley, I think it was the Wesley Company is the name of the business. That looks pretty good. I can tell you, you want to swipe this one because it worked extraordinarily well. You'll see here that there's a business types that go from A to Z, not many businesses that I haven't looked after. Now let's go back to the swipe menu because you've now decided that after business types, you might want to search by marketing category. That means Facebook ads or brochures or TV, radio, a marketing category. Could be, for example, showing you how to build repetitive trade, van signage, how to collect data, copywriting, how to create urgency in your advertising, how to create a marketing plan, how to create direct mail letters, how to do Facebook ads and creatives, how to get actual graphics and signage done, how to hold an event, which is a really important one, how to hold insured prize promotions, how to give away $1 million and only pay a few $1,000s for it. Now, the point is that, you know, when you click on brochures, you want to learn how to put together a brochure. Well, you'll come through to a video tutorial by me, and I'll go through how you should put together a brochure. Okay, so let's have a look at the sort of brochures that I put together for various industries. You'll see there's a $50,000 giveaway one there. There's a brochure that actually talks about the adventure at Clearwater Island Fishing Lodge in this instance. It goes on and on and on. The whole idea is that you can get in and swipe ideas from lots of brochures here and maybe put one together for yourself. Okay, copywriting. Everyone wants to know how to write good copy, because really at the end of the day you can't create a story if you're not being able to sell anything. Okay, so what I'm here to do is to show you lots and lots of examples of effective copywriting. Keep in mind I'm putting samples in here that have really broken records. Things have actually worked really, really well. You know what? The real big one is this: the WOW Marketing Makeover marketing plans for a whole host of different businesses. Now, we have scores and scores and scores of marketing plans that I put together for various businesses. Let's say, for example, you know, a tree lopping business. Okay, now I know you might not be a tree lopper, but let's just say you were. You could get in, swipe the tree lopping marketing plans I put together for this company, everything, including the layout of their website and also the complete 12 months marketing plan that I put together for them. Just swipe it and use it for your own tree lopping business. Can you imagine the value in that? But of course, it's not just tree loppers we're talking about. I put marketing plans together for all sorts of businesses. In the world that I live in, direct response world, it's really, really important that I show you how you can actually use direct response marketing in your business. Therefore, we've created a section that gives you dozens and dozens and dozens of samples of direct response winning campaigns right through all sorts of industries. Okay, so therefore, let's say, for example, we go down the direct response path and we might pick Facebook. Okay, what I've done here is that Facebook advertising is great, but of course, if you don't put the right ingredients in, it ain't going to work for you. Doesn't matter what you say. So what we've done here is that we're showing you a whole host of different examples of how I've put together direct response Facebook ads for a whole host of clients. Because at the end of the day, it's great to say that Facebook's a wonderful medium, but it's all about driving massive prospect traffic to our landing page, collecting the data, and then doing a second step, that is the sell. It's called a two-step sell. Okay, so there you have it. Wow Central, the world's largest marketing ideas bank. It's there for you to swipe as many ideas from it as you like. The great thing here for you is that you can swipe ideas from any industry you like, transfer them into your business, and hopefully make a lot of money from it. Okay, so who thinks that that's a pretty valuable resource to tap into? 24/7, okay. And if you're in the servicing game, I don't care whether you're an accountant or solicitor or you're a physiotherapist or whatever it may be, think about how, now look, that's 2 years worth of, like, it's the biggest website in the world probably, it's massive. So it was 2 years and, you know, over 100 G's to put that together. You may not have that sort of wealth of information that you want to put in there. You might have a much smaller one, as is the case with Steam Master, the carpet cleaning guy. But can you just imagine how that could attract more people to your environment? Okay, so this particular system I'll show you is 5 steps. And the first step is who is your target audience, but not necessarily who is your target audience, who's your most profitable target audience. So when I say to people, look, who's your target audience? They are women. I go, no. Is it women 35 through to 54 that have 2.3 children and they live in Sanctuary Cove? Or is it women 18 through to 35, so on and so forth, okay? So really at the end of the day, if you're going to be putting together a marketing plan, and you know, people, I've got 2 programs, and you'll hear about those throughout this, because I said I didn't put this on because I love everyone. One program is for businesses probably doing up to 750,000. They might be a startup, they might be doing 100, might be doing 300, 400, 500, and that's a smaller program and much less expensive. And then I have a private coaching program, which is around about $3 grand a month. And basically then I become the quasi-marketing manager for that business, and you have 24/7 access to me all the time, unlimited access. So obviously that's more expensive. That's about nearly $3,000 a month. And I'll show you more about those afterwards. I'm going to make sure that we don't spend too much time on it, because I know you're not here for a sell fest, but at the end of the day, there might be some people in here that could certainly benefit from some help. Second one is create a wow, take their eyes off the price. You don't want their eyes on the price. The third one is using a problem solution formula. And if you are not showing anyone what their problem is so that you can provide them with the solution, you are leaving money on the table. Because the thing is that if you look at Jenny Craig, she's an expert at that. She'll tell you exactly what your problem is. Are you overweight? Are you not feeling good about yourself? Well, of course, come onto my program and your life can change. And that's the sort of before and after scenario that you might like to consider for your products or services. Number 4, be different online. I'm being kind there. I'm really saying fix your ugly website. Okay, so therefore really I'm saying be different online to have a direct response driven website, not just a website. But really at the end of the day, when I looked at all of your websites, because most of you gave them to me in the registration format, they just don't have anywhere near what you need, particularly on the home page, to make people sticky. Let me just ask you, this will be an interesting experiment, and I get the same response every time. Who here knows their bounce rate on their website? Anybody? 1 or 2 or 3, okay. So the bounce rate, and I suggest that all of you would have a very, very high bounce rate, probably 60, 70, 80% bounce rate, is the number of people, the percentage of people who come onto your homepage and you bore them shitless. And they leave, they bounce, they don't go to any of your other pages. So you've paid some wanky web designer to put together 6 pages of your website. Nobody's ever getting to page 2, 3, 4 or 5 or 6 because you bored them on the front page. I'm sorry to say this, but you are boring, okay? Oh, everyone's leaving. But the thing is, you don't want to be boring on that homepage. You want to be exciting. You want to make sure that you're giving them a data capture facility so they download a free report. You want to make sure, when I'm going to show you and take you through exactly what you need on the homepage, that top panel, which is the panel above the fold. So therefore, you know, I know that most websites now are, you know, looked at on smartphones and tablets, but let's just say it's looked on a desktop, which still, you know, depending who you want to talk to, it'll be 40% or more that are looking at it on a computer. That's the fold. That's the bottom of your computer screen. Up there is your most valuable real estate. Guess what some people do? They put all the good shit underneath. They're never going to scroll underneath. You've bored them shitless up here, okay? So therefore what you want to make sure is that this section here of your website, which is the top panel or 2, is just knock them out. You know, they fall off their chair. They're so exciting. But, you know, I open up accountancy websites because we have a whole bunch of them come on board. And they will have above the fold, welcome to Jim's accounting service. Oh, right, well, I've got hard nipples. That's going to really turn me on. Thank you, Jim. I can't wait to see you, you know. So what you've got to do is make sure that you're going to knock them out with that, whatever they see first on that homepage. By the way, anybody who came in late, I did warn everybody, this is politically incorrect. So if you're worried about, you know, if you're thin-skinned, leave, all right? Okay, you've been warned. And the 5th component of that marketing plan is build repetitive trade. And you cannot build repetitive trade if you have not collected data, okay? You've got to collect the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of those 5. I'm going to make it as interesting as possible by showing you case studies, because who thinks, even though I'm really, really funny and I've got a lot of dad jokes, who thinks if I was to sit here and just preach to you without case studies, you'd be probably bored shitless? Please put your hand up so at least you go along with that, yeah. I can't believe this. Facebook Live, you can't see this, but these people actually didn't put the hand up when I gave them the opportunity to bag me out. Okay, target audience, Mediballs. I want to show this one to you as an example of knowing your target audience or your most profitable target audience and then looking for more people who look like them. Because if you said to me, okay, who is my most profitable target audience? I would say to you, businesses that are more white collar than blue singlet. And it's not because I can't help blue singlet businesses. We've got plenty of builders and we've got courier drivers and truck drivers, electricians and plumbers on board. But do you think they're going to be more sceptical to buy into one of my coaching programs than an accountant or doctor or dentist? Of course they are, because I'm a wanker. I'm wearing a coat. Oh, mate, you know, I can't trust you. You've got a coat on, mate. I'm not going to get you to show me how to do my plumbing. So, whereas a doctor or dentist or an accountant, they'll go, yeah, mate, I'm in. Yeah, where do you want the money deposited? So therefore, it's not that I make any more money out of a doctor or a dentist or an accountant, it's just that they're an easier sell for me. They're an easier sell. They're used to spending money on Facebook, they're used to having a nice website, they're used to this whole marketing thing. Whereas if I get a plumber or electrician on board who's doing most of his business at the pub on a Friday afternoon by just going, oh mate, you need any LEDs, then they're going to be more difficult to get on board. And I don't want to work that hard to get people on board. So who am I going to go for? I'm going to go for the people who are the easiest. So my advertising tends to try and get more white collar workers in the room. It works most of the time, sometimes it doesn't. In your instance, anybody here that want to give me an example of their business where they had an epiphany at some stage in the last year or two or three, where they were going down a path trying to be everything to everyone, but then they found their sweet spot. They found their sweet spot, and it was men between, I don't know, 35 and 45, and they wanted this. Sorry, your name, we'll get a microphone too if you don't mind. Can you just tell me, it's Darren? So Darren, could you just, yep, Darren, just put your hand up.
Yeah, we were all things to everyone, doing everything. We're in the safety compliance business, and we liked or focused just solely on aged care and retirement living, and that was our epiphany. We just went,
there you go.
Easy people to get.
Yep, there you go.
Fine, yeah.
And that's paid dividends for you?
Yeah, grew our business from about 500,000, nearly 3 million.
There you go.
2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Darren, I guess it's a bit like I often say, Jenny Craig will not make any money by speaking to an anorexic society, okay? So the whole idea is that you've got to look for your most profitable audience and then just look for more people who look like them. So in Darren's instance, he's found that it might be the senior care area, so therefore he's just going to look for more people look like them. Okay, so this one here is a lady who looks after helping women with incontinence issues. And she lives in Sanctuary Cove, lovely lady, Barbara her name is, and she was a client for some time. And she signed up to the private coaching program, so she got more of me. And this is sort of what her website used to look like. Okay, now, as it turns out, a third of all women suffer from incontinence. And so therefore it is an issue that touches a lot of families. And if you were to ask anyone in the room here, what age group do you think it would be that, ladies would be wetting their pants, if you like, more than any other age group, you'd probably say seniors. Would that be fair to say? Everyone agree with that? Yep. And so in this instance here, what she did is that she actually showed a picture of a senior, and it's not a picture, but a video of a senior. And I came on board, and this is the product here, and it's a magnificent product in terms of the success rate. If you buy this Mediball product, and it's only $50, she brings it in from Germany, it will fix, in most instances, your incontinence issue within 5 to 7 days. Now, when she came on board, what do you think the first thing I said to her was, you're not charging enough. If I could fix anybody's problem about wetting their pants in 5 to 7 days, it ain't going to get my product for $50, I can tell you. And she said, oh, well, what do you suggest? I said, double it. Double the price. And you'll double your turnover. If you're doing 2 million, you'll do 4 million, okay? Because price is not... If I was to give you if I said I've got a tablet here tonight that will fix whatever illness you've got, and if it was a severe illness, you'd pay me any money I asked for it, wouldn't you? Price goes out the window. If you're David Copperfield, price goes out the window. And you'll find that when I do tell you how to get involved in my thing, it's not the cheapest program in the world, but I reckon it is the most spectacular, unbelievable value in the world. That's what you're after, the value equation, not whether it's cheap or not. I can show you how you can probably triple or quadruple your sales quicker than some 25-year-old will say, oh, I think you ought to sponsor the local basketball team. Why don't we put an ad on the side of a bus? Why don't we build your brand? Oh, please go back to uni, please. So the thing is that in this instance here, she was gearing up towards the older audience, and that older audience we found was only a percentage of people who had incontinence issues, or ladies. Because when we actually went to the Bureau of Statistics, we found that women in their 30s and 40s who'd had a child or two, their pelvic floor was not what it used to be. And so therefore they had the same problem. But she wasn't. Do you think this video here would relate to that? Not a chance in the world. So by the way, when she came on board Pelvic Floor Assist, I've got to get more butchers and bakers. I've got too many women's issues. I've got a menopause person. I've got a lady who owns 5 sex shops. I've got this. Please, if you decide to sign up and do anything, please be a butcher, a baker, just a normal everyday. But Pelvic Floor Assist, I didn't know what they were. I thought it was a builder. And when she came on board, I learnt what a pelvic floor was. But anyway, so therefore we said to her, what are you doing on Facebook? Well, she had Esme here on Facebook saying, hi, my name's Esme and I'm 104 and I used to sort of wet my pants all the time, and I took the Mediball product and it's just marvellous. I've stopped it immediately now. I can play golf again. in the chair, but I can play golf here. So therefore, we said, well, listen, we're going to have to hype this up a bit. So we decided to turn it into a website that reflected the audience that we knew that she could target. And you'll see there, it's a younger audience. You'll see that that video is a what we call a doodle animation video, and you'll see how that works in a moment. And as we scroll down the page, we gave more, this is not the website, this is the video, but we showed more younger people. And what we did is stopped her Facebook advertising, which happened to be, you know, the older lady, and we put this on. Now, it's a doodle whiteboard animation video. And anybody used this sort of stuff? Okay, we used to pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a 3-minute video some years ago. Now we get this out of the Philippines for about $250 US. And have a look how powerful this is, and I'll tell you the result of it. It took her Facebook ads to a different stratosphere.
As a woman, our lives are busy and active. We work. Some of us have children. We lead eventful lives, share our joys, and our health is important. But there are health concerns that cause many of us unnecessary stress and anxiety. We are busy and active, so few of us have the time for the symptoms of weak pelvic floor muscles, such as the constant need to go to the bathroom. Yet when women look to treat the problem, the alternatives can appear far from ideal. Not to mention, activating the pelvic floor during floor exercises can sometimes be a mission. And while yoga is great, it doesn't always work for all of us. To support women's pelvic health, Pelvic Floor Assist has arrived to offer women a new, discreet and effective pelvic floor training treatment option, Mediball Secret. Offered as a single or as a double, Mediball Secret is a Class 1 medical device listed with the Therapeutic Goods Association of Australia. They are BPA and latex free and are worn completely internal. Mediball Secret uses internally located weights to assist the pelvic.
Okay, so you get the gist of that, and this is the lady who owns the business. As I said, a lovely lady, Barbara, her name is. And I'm going to show you, I'll let the light stay up for a second to give it more impact. Oh, okay, good. Nemo to light person. So therefore, the thing is that she was getting about 4,000 clicks for every 7 to 10 days from the Facebook advertising that she had on, which was the little old Esme saying, hello, I used to, you know. And then we swapped it to this, and I'll let her tell you what the results were.
Because you pick up these contacts and ideas, and the biggest idea I think I've received was using a doodle commercial as opposed to a still advert, because my clicks on Facebook went from 4,000 to 95,000 in 2 weeks, and I've had the most amazing amount.
4,000 to 95,000 in 2 weeks. Anybody like that sort of increase in their Facebook advertising? Yeah. Okay. She was quite happy to pay whatever the click cost was. And of course, the thing was that when I suggested she double her price, I said to her when she was, you know, sort of wary about doing that, I said just do a split test. Just throw traffic at one website for $50 and throw traffic at another website for $99. And do you know what the difference was? None. If you've got a product like that that's going to fix somebody's problem within 7 to 10 days, they'll pay certainly a lot more than $50. Okay, creating a wow factor, number 2. These guys, as I mentioned to you, have been doing it for 1,000 years, and they've been doing it pretty well. I've got 6 kids and they're all adults these days, but at one stage we had 6 screaming kids in a Tarago, and when we had 6 under 12 at one stage, I think McDonald's got from us about $6.4 billion in Happy Meals, because it just shut the little rats up in the back of the car. And who will admit, I know that we're all supposed to be healthy now, but who would admit that they've bought a Happy Meal to keep the children happy? Quite a few of us, okay. But of course, we all now eat broccoli, so therefore we would not ever go to McDonald's. Okay, so therefore, Kellogg's have been doing this for around about 50 years. I can remember as a child myself, back in the 1800s, we had toys in the boxes and they've still got them there. So why do you think Kellogg's are doing that? Of course, to take your eyes off the prize and to make sure you collect all 4 of them, which means you've got to buy 4 cereals. And then let me just show you the sort of things that but let me just, can I grab the microphone myself for a minute? Okay, I'll just do this. I'm going to make it a nightmare for the Facebook Live people. And all I'm going to do is, as I go around the room, if I could just ask you to give me what your business is. So you go, doctor, butcher, baker, whatever. What's your business?
Fashion boutique.
Fashion boutique?
Beauty therapist.
Beauty therapy. Can we turn the microphone on? Yeah. Mary?
Finance.
Finance?
Pawnbroking.
A pawn?
Pawnbroking.
Oh, I thought you said... I was going to say, we'd spend most of the night with you then in that case. It'd be a different sort of slideshow, but anyway, yeah. Sorry, yours?
Real estate.
Real estate, good.
Mobile apps.
Mobile apps?
Online marketplace.
Online marketplace. Okay, good, yep. Penelope?
Life coaching.
Life coaching, good, yep. And Darryl, Dazzle?
Massage therapies.
Yeah, mate. Pete?
Digital marketing, SEO.
SEO, and one more, Scott?
Cafe.
Cafe, mate, good, okay. Good. Okay, where's the cafe, mate? We're on the Gold Coast?
Newmarket, Brisbane.
Newmarket, Brisbane, okay, good stuff. And were you here when I was bagging out restaurants for not collecting data, or did you come in after that? After that, yeah, mate. So hopefully from tomorrow onwards you will you'll collect data, because what I was saying is, well, you may already do it, so therefore I'll just leave this here for you. You may already do it, but what I was saying is that McDonald's had 1.7 million people today come through their restaurants and they don't know who they are. Nuts. And I can go into any restaurant tonight downstairs or anywhere on the Gold Coast and spend $200 and they won't ask me for my details, which means they'll never be able to text me when they're empty. Nuts. Okay, so therefore these are the sorts of value adds that you might like to consider. And every one of those businesses who I just talked to, although perhaps the SEO guy might not fall into this category, but nonetheless, a lawnmower. Why wouldn't the guy that's coming to mow your lawn, do you reckon he needs a uni course to get a little squidgy in a bucket and say, look, how about I clean your windows? Take him like 20 minutes before he leaves, but it will wow Mrs. Smith like she's never been wowed before. Does he need a uni course for that? I don't think so. But if the lawn mowing guy did that, she would never look for another lawn mowing guy, okay? Unless the other lawn mowing guy looked like George Clooney or something like that, but you know, outside of that. Second one, electrician. Why not you give free chocolates on the bench? And the only reason I bring this up because one of my clients did that. He just put a box of milk tray on the kitchen bench before he left, after he'd done some PowerPoints and this, that and the other, and he became known at the tuck shop circuit as the chocolate electrician, okay? She would just say to a friend, Pam, in the tuck shop, oh, I had this electrician come in, it's unbelievable. What, Jody, can some seats for people? And so therefore he said he used to get so many calls all the time that would say, are you the chocolate electrician? Are you the one that leaves the chocolates? You go, oh, sort of. Just silly little things, but they work. Car mechanic. Anybody here in the car mechanic game? No? When we put our car in for service these days and go to pick it up and we get that $4.8 billion bill and we go, what did you change? Was it just the oil? Do you think that we would probably forget about what it cost if we sat in the car and next to us on the passenger seat were 2 movie tickets? I think you might take your car back to that guy. And depending upon what he charged, it may be gold class, it may not be. Nobody does this sort of stuff. Kitchen renovator. Why don't you give them away a 5-star weekend if they're going to spend 10 grand on a kitchen with you? Motor vehicle, free holiday, like I did with the Greater Building Society. Hardware store. You know that they're blokes. Why don't you give them a carton of free lager? And you might say, hang on, how can we give a carton of Crown Lager away? Easy. You get them to pay for it. So you just say, okay, for every $50 that you... Well, let me ask you this. The way to get this around your head, who in the room here would be prepared to give up 10% of your sale price if I could double your business? Who would be prepared? Every single damn one of you, okay? Well, you know, it can be done. I'm not saying I can guarantee it, but most of the time that we've done this, it works out something like that. I'm going to show you a number of case studies. So let's just say that if you put 10% off outside the hardware store, do you think you'd have many blokes rushing in? We've got Groupon these days, for God's sake, 50%. Do you think anyone's going to come rushing in for 10%? And even if they were, there's a place down the road which is a 40-ton gorilla called Bunnings. And you know that they have a price guarantee, that no matter what you find, they're going to beat it. So how about we did this? If you're a smart hardware operator, you'd say, look guys, tell you what, we've got the best hardware there is, Bunnings don't come anywhere near us. What we're going to do is that we're going to give you, for every $50, we're going to give you a Crown Lager point. And when you save 10 Crown Lager points, 10 times $50, we're going to give you a carton of Crown Lager. What do you think a carton of Crown Lager costs? 45, 50 bucks. What's 45 or 50 bucks as a percentage of the 500? 10%. Who thinks that would work better than a 10% discount? Do you think every builder in the damn country would be coming back to you rather than Bunnings? Of course they would. Hairdressing salon. If she put a shingle outside her hair salon and said 10% off, no one's going to come running in the world that we live in with Groupon and Kudo. But if she said, for every $50 you spend with me, I'm going to give you a movie point. And when you save 6 movie points, which is 6 times $50, that's 300, I'm going to give you 2 $15 tickets to the movies. What do you think 2 $15 tickets would cost? 30 bucks. $30 is a percentage of the 300? 10%. And that's all McDonald's have done. I used to work with them, you know, I understand the Happy Meal toy thing. That's what they've done. They've jacked the price up to, you know, keep the cost of the toy in there, and of course then they say you've got a bonus toy. Really, really simple. Okay, there you go. So I won't bother going through all of those, okay? I was with these guys for a number of years. I had left when this came along, but this is one of the most spectacular, what I would call sticky continuity schemes in the world. And the thing is that in terms of keeping customers sticky, this thing has been unbelievable. Coles took 2 years to catch up to them, but this was launched in 1996 and of course it's still working. And the whole idea is that they've chosen something which is universally appealing to both sexes and all ages. Okay, I can't take any credit for this one because I'd left Woolworths at that time, but it's brilliant. And of course they're not going to ever get rid of it anytime soon because a percentage of their audience just love this thing. When you are looking for a value add, if you have a wide audience, then you should look for just 4 things. There's only 4 things, okay? I've tried every one of them: plasma TVs, white goods, refrigerators, lawnmowers, you name it. And if you give me a lawnmower, I'll say, thank you, I've already got one. You give me a fridge, I'll say, look, I've got one in the garage with my beer and I've got the one in the kitchen. I don't need a fridge, okay? But if you say to me, when I've just got down off the steps from Fiji, I just got down off the steps off the plane, said, oh, JD, we'd like to give you another trip to Fiji. I'll give you a man hug and I'll get back up on the plane. I can't get enough trips to Fiji. So if you're looking for something to incentivise people, and your people are consumers, so you're B2C, holidays, alcohol, and fuel discounts. That's it, okay? Don't try anything else. Do not do anything else. They will all fail miserably, okay? You're looking at someone who's probably run more contests, bingo games, scratch games, you name it, than anyone else in the country. We were the contest kings back in Sydney when I ran a business there called Dynamic Ideas. We did all the scratch bingos for the newspapers, all that stuff. And I would never run another contest in my life because unless you have, these days, $100,000, $500,000 or $1 million, you aren't going to get anyone's attention. When was the last time anyone here got excited about buying a product or service because you might win a year's worth of groceries or motor car, God forbid? Nobody. And yet these morons are out there every day. So win a car if you buy this, you know, win a year's worth of groceries, and you just want to slap them. That's not going to work. There's a show on TV, it's been there for about 10 years. Who wants to be a millionaire? I don't think your year's worth of groceries is going to stack up. And when everybody says to me, oh, JD, I think you're wrong, because I can give you $1 million. I can give every one of you $1 million here tonight for 16 grand. Okay, Channel 9 does not give that money away. That money is given away by an insurance company. And you can get $1 million for $16,000. You can get $500,000 for 8 grand, and you can get $250,000 for 4. We do this stuff all the time. We filled a Fijian resort, bang, overnight, by saying to every travel agent here on the east coast of Australia, when you are booking people into a Fijian resort, book them into the Hideaway Resort, because for every night that you book, you're in the draw to win $1 million. Okay, when you walked into the travel agent throughout this promotion for the Hideaway Resort in Fiji, which was a 25-year-old resort that I had as a client, so they certainly weren't up where the Port Denaroo hotels were. These were half an hour down the coast, and their occupancy rate was 34%. As soon as we put on to the travel agents in Australia, for every night you book into our crappy resort, okay, we're going to give you a chance to win $1 million. You get a ticket for every night. They went from 34 to 96%. Bang, and stopped there for the whole 2 months of the promotion. Did they put in a new pool? Did they refurbish the resort? No. They did nothing but a Happy Meal toy. Now, do you think that they would have filled that resort if they said to all the travel agents, oh, you know what? Book people into our resort and you'll be in the chance to win a cup and saucer. So when people say to me, oh, JD, I think you're wrong, people don't believe those big things, I think we should give away a lot of little prizes. After I've called them a dickhead, I then said to them, in that case, you ring up Eddie Maguire and you tell him that it shouldn't be who wants to be a millionaire, it should be who wants to win maybe a hamper of fruit. And he'll have 11 viewers watching, okay? And they will be family. So I'll talk more about that afterwards, but you can get these massive, massive prizes for a relatively low insurance. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, hang on, how do they give you $1 million for 16 grand? Are you thinking that? And would you like to know? I'll say this is not good, because I don't know what's happened, but I think, you know how there's Superman and there's Spider-Man? There's also Coma Man. And I think Coma Man has come in here and just had some special spell over all you people. So can I just get some sort of, who would like me to tell them how to get $1 million for 16 grand? Yes! Oh, gosh, that's so different. Coma Man has gone. Yeah. Okay, so therefore, what happens is the insurance company gives you these prizes based on, and in premium is based on the chances of losing that million. So what would happen if you were running a restaurant, for argument's sake, you'd say for everyone who actually spends $100 in my restaurant, you've got a ticket in the $1 million draw. And what happens after 3 months of running this, you're going to draw someone out, you invite them to your boardroom or back to your restaurant when it's not open, and they have 250 envelopes on the table, or 250 envelopes up on a pegboard, whatever it is, or in a barrel. And one of those envelopes has the $1 million in it. The other 249 envelopes has a consolation prize, trip to Fiji, a motor car, whatever it might be. So that's how it works. It's a 1 in 250 chance. You can make it a 1 in 50, but you're going to pay a lot more for your premium, obviously. 1 in 250, I've tried every number there is, and 1 in 250 is absolutely fine. I do think it beats the lottery and lotto, I think so. So what happens, that person comes up in the drawer, the boardroom, any, many, money, look, pick number 62, and if it's got the $1 million in there, then the insurance guy pays out the cheque, off you go, happy days, and you've videoed it and put it on your Facebook, everything else. And if you get one of the 249 other envelopes, you win a consolation prize of the trip to Fiji, whatever it might be. But it gives you the Elvis found headline for you can get $100,000 prize you can get for $2,200. Like, it's insane. And it doesn't have to be cash, they don't care. You can give away like a Maserati if you want. They will just give you the money for the Maserati. And that's what Channel 9 does, that's what Deal or No Deal on Channel 7. None of those places pay for that money, okay? Okay, now I want to show you a wow of all wows. This happened to be a client that you'd probably be familiar with. It's called the Greater Building Society. They're in regional New South Wales, but also in the Gold Coast. And before I came along, back in the early 2000s, they were just in the rate game. They were actually advertising home loans for rates. And when they actually came up with, let's say, at the time, 5.4%, what do you think the Commonwealth Bank did? 5.3%. And then the Greater would go, well, bugger you, I'll go 5.2%. What do you think the Commonwealth Bank did? 5.1. Do you think they were ever going to beat the Commonwealth Bank? They're a building society. They're not quite, they're the 254th biggest company in Australia, so they're decent size. But do you think they're ever going to beat the 40-ton gorilla like Westpac or the Commonwealth? Of course not. So I said to them, you guys are dickheads, okay? And they were suffering at the time from a severe disease which is just rife around Australia with business owners, and I know that you guys wouldn't suffer from it, but it's called dickheaditis. And they did suffer severely from dickheaditis, and I said to them, you've got to take their eyes off the interest rate, off the price. And they said, well, how do we do that? And I was doing some Kerry Ann commercials at the time on Channel 9 for a travel wholesale business, and they could give them a $5,000 holiday for about half the price. So I got them involved, and boy, that wholesale travel company certainly sends me Christmas cards because they made a lot of money out of it, like mega millions. But what we did is we took away what they thought was a Happy Meal, what they thought was a wow factor. Because I said to them, what's your difference? Because the thing is that if I actually pulled out in the meeting, whatever it was, $50, $100 note, I said, what makes this different, getting it from the Greater Building Society versus getting it from Westpac? And they said, well, nothing. You're super dickheads. Because if you've not got Coke and Pepsi are different, aren't they? Cadbury chocolate and crappy chocolate are different. That is the same wherever I get it. So unless you've got a wow factor to distinguish your $50 from anyone else's, you're going to be in the rate chasing game, and Westpac and Commonwealth are going to beat you every time. And they said, oh, look, thank you for pointing out that we're dickheads. What would we do? I said, well, what do you do at the moment? And they said, well, our lead gen is 1% honeymoon rate. I said, but every bank's got a 1% honeymoon rate. You're still dickheads, all right? Everyone's got a 1% honeymoon rate. You've got to do better than that. And they go, well, we can't because we're dickheads, you know. I said, well, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will replace that 1% honeymoon rate, just like the 10% was replaced before. We will replace that 1% honeymoon rate with a free holiday. And they went, how does that work? I said, well, on a $500,000 loan, then a 1% honeymoon rate off the interest for that first year will be $5,000. You give the travel wholesale company $5,000, they'll give you $10,000 holiday. And I went, wow, let's test it. So we tested it to see whether this would work, and in 3 months, they doubled their home loans. And we're talking like billions, not millions, okay? So therefore, it just went bang, like that. We never advertised an interest rate then for the next 11 years. The only time they went back to interest rates was when I left. When I left, they brought in, I was a consultant, I wasn't working there, I was a consultant, but they brought in another consultancy, and what do you think they decided to do? Oh, get rid of that holiday thing, that's old hat. Imagine someone coming to McDonald's going, oh, that Happy Meal toy, I think that's had its day, I think we'll just get rid of that. Like the guy that came into Qantas to run Qantas, remember, he said, oh, let's get rid of Peter Allen, still call Australia home. I'm Irish, why don't we just get rid of that? I don't like that song. So therefore, there are really dumb decisions made out there, and you just, you know, I won't even bring up the closing ceremony, but let's everybody turn our TVs on, we'll see something we've never seen before. Guy Sebastian. Okay, good. Righto, so therefore, I'll show you how this all worked. This was one of the many TV ads that we put together. Have a look here for an interest rate. You won't see one.
We're all going on a summer holiday.
We stayed at the Brits on Broadbeach, and as I said, it was just wonderful. We opened the door and there it was, right over the beach and right over the city lights, and we couldn't believe our eyes, really.
Get a home loan from the Greater Building Society and choose yourself a free holiday. No catches, no competitions. Call the Greater on 13 13 86.
Oh, me and you.
So, do you see an interest rate there? Of course you wouldn't, okay? And let me just keep the lights off because I'll play you a couple of ads. This one here just melted the switchboard every time we did it. It's Colleen and her husband in Gosford, and what I would do is take a camera crew into the houses of these people and I'd get them to basically be more comfortable because they're in their own home. In this instance, we didn't ask Colin too many questions. He had a lot of motorbikes outside, and I think he could have killed us just by looking at us. So we didn't ask many questions, but his wife gave us absolute gold. Have a listen to this. No price whatsoever.
Why leave your bank for the Greater?
Why would I put money into the bank when they charge me for every transaction? They charge me if I use internet banking, they charge me if I use phone banking, they charge me if I use an ATM, they charge me more if I line up for 20 minutes and hand money over the counter. It's a wonder they don't charge me to walk past the bank.
Swap your home loan to the Greater and forget about all these fees. Swap now, save on fees and get a free holiday. Call 13 13 86.
Okay, so there's a lot in 30 seconds there, but it doesn't sound crowded. That's the trick to this. When you've got 30 seconds, you want to make sure it sounds conversational. Then a few years later, this guy came along. The Greater Building Society said to me, look, we've scooped up a lot of the low-lying fruit. In other words, working class people, because building societies and credit unions, when I talk about the most profitable customer, their most profitable customer are going to be working class. That's just the way it is, okay? If you wear a collar and a tie, you tend to go to the big four banks. Just the way it is, right? And so therefore they said, can we get to the white collar workers? I said, look, I think you've mistaken me for David Copperfield, okay? Because you can't take a building society or credit union and get doctors and dentists to take out loans from them. They just won't do it. They had 330,000 members and 329,000 of them were working class. So that's the way it is. And so therefore you don't try and push water uphill. But I said, look, a mate of mine had been running the Billy Connolly campaign for ING. And if you want, we can probably fast track, new customers into the middle white collar management. But if you want to fast track it, we need a celebrity or sports star or something like that. And they said, okay, well, what do you suggest? And as it turned out, I went over to America and got Robin Williams. And I was showing off about it, ringing up from New York saying, got Robin Williams. And I think God was watching because my head was too big. And the Building Society general manager said to me, Robin Williams, wow. What do we have to do? I said, build a statue outside your head office in Newcastle. And they went, of him? I said, no, of me. I'm the one that got Robin Williams, you idiot. And as it turned out, God was watching because by the time I got to Australia off the plane, Robin Williams had left a message to say he just got a new movie and he couldn't do it. And so therefore we went for number 2, which was this guy, which of course is just as big as Robin Williams. And I won't bore you with the details, but we got him, and we got him for a steal of a price. And I'll tell you what the price was. It was reported at the time was 10 million, all this sort of money. It wasn't. It was 1.1 million a year by 3 years. Ricky Ponting gets more than that in Australia from Synovus Vitamins. Jennifer Hawkins gets more than that. So to get this guy for that sort of money was crazy. I would just fly over, get all the stuff done with him. We basically took out a street in a little country town that was close to his place, and put in gum trees and New South Wales number plates and all that sort of stuff, and we just pretended it was a country town in Australia. And this is what happened.
I'd like to talk to you about a home loan. Not for me, for you. I have a home.
Get a Getaways home loan from the Greater. It could be the most fun financial decision you'll ever make. Just ask a Greater customer.
When we shopped around for a home loan, we found the Greater had one of the lowest interest rates.
Earned a free holiday with over 200 choices, and there were no catches.
Get a Getaways home loan and go on a free holiday. Or loan us some money and we'll go on a holiday. Either way, someone's getting out of here.
Okay, so who thinks that that looks like a normal bank ad? Anybody? Did that look really different from a normal bank ad? Of course it does. And that's the whole idea. You don't want to look like a normal physiotherapist or a normal, finance broker. You don't want to look like a normal butcher, baker or candidate. You want to look different. And you'll notice that in my instance, I'm cheeky and sarcastic by my very nature, but if I'm doing this, I'm going to turn it up by 10%. Of course I am, right? But my point of difference to an advertising agency is that I think we're real. We're fair income. We don't go on with all the ponytail bullshit. Ours is very practical, down-to-earth, common-sense marketing that nobody could dispute makes sense. Nobody. I mean, so you've been here now for the best part of whatever it is, an hour and a bit. Who at the moment thinks that this couldn't fall under the heading of common sense? It's just common sense, isn't it? That's all it is. So therefore the thing is that when we put this together, he tripled their home loan market share within the first 24 months. Nuts. And of course this idiot didn't have a share of it. What I should have done is said to the Greater Building Society, look, I'll back off on the consultancy fee and you just give me a percentage of the home loans. And then I wouldn't have gone to Fiji, I would have bought Fiji. But I never got around to doing that, unfortunately. And when we were doing the commercials with the people out in their homes, this is a few years back, so I don't have as many wrinkles, but I would take the piss out of the husband and wife and say to them, look, I'd like to say you're the best we've ever had. And they, after they'd heard my sarcasm for half a morning, they go, well, that's unusual, he's giving us a compliment. I said, no. I said, I'd like to say you're the best we've had. I can't, you're awful, you know. Now the camera crew thought that was Dr. Evil, so they decided to get me back in New York. But I'll show you here what I used to do to these poor people. I'd just like to say that was the best performance from anyone that we've ever had in one of these TV addresses.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
No, you misunderstand me. I said I'd like to say that I can't. You're pretty ordinary, actually. You're pretty ordinary. Yeah. We might have to do it all again. Crew, can we get you back again? Now, with my weird, twisted sense of humour, I thought that was good fun, but the camera crew decided that I was cruel, so when we were doing the Seinfeld commercials, they decided to pay me back.
JD, I just want to say that, you're the most professional, most competent, just best to work with marketing person I've ever worked with.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I'd like to say.
Now, ask yourself, if you had that on your brag file, you would play it as well. Okay, B2B. Who's B2B here? Again, just put your hands up. Okay. Right, a lot of the B2B people think, okay, this wow factor stuff, I can see how it works for McDonald's and Happy Meal toys and how 2 years interest free at Harvey Norman works and the toys in the bottom of the Kellogg's pack and all, but I'm B2B, how does it work for me? Exactly the same. We just design it differently. And in this instance, it's a turf farm and they are on the, Tamborine Mountain. And we might have batteries in here, I think we might have a problem. So anyway, he comes and joins our program, and I said to him, well, who's your target audience? And he said, well, really landscapers, because mum and dad's buying one backyard or one front yard's worth of grass is not going to make us rich. He said, the trouble is with landscapers, they're tight asses. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, every time they ring up and ask about, turf, they go, how much? He says, look, I say $5.50 a square metre. Oh, we can get it down the road for $5.20. So he said, well, I've got to drop my pants all the time. And I said, well, you want to get out of that game? He said, yeah, I've seen you do that stuff on TV with the, free holiday. Have you got any of that stuff? And I said, well, hang on, let's have a talk about your target audience. They're blokes. He goes, yeah, 99.9%. I said, I guess they like beer. And he goes, well, of course. I said, but they normally drink 4X or 2Es. Why don't we give them a prestigious beer that only wankers with coats normally drink? So why don't we go with Crown Lager? And he goes, yep, fine. So that's what we did. And we got a mail list of 500 and something landscapers on Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and we only sent out half of them. We only sent out 250. A lot of these guys are not computer literate, so this was a few years ago, so therefore it has to be snail mail. Thanks for that. So therefore, yeah, we sent this out, and about 8 days into the campaign, he rings me up, the guy that owns the place. His name is John, and he said, JD, we're in deep shit. And I said, what's that? Now, before we sent this out, I was visiting him at his turf farm, and I said to him, how much grass have you got? And he said, can you see the mountain range going over mountains and mountains there, and the mountain range going over mountains? I said, yeah. He goes, that's it. We've got 6 miles of turf, okay? And he said, if we don't get this out really quickly before spring comes along so we can replant, we're in deep trouble. I said, wow. So he said, we've got to get rid of it really quick. And he said, so the way that we normally do it is drop my prices. I said, no, let's give this a whirl. So 8 days in, after that had gone out, he rings me up and said to me, we're in deep trouble. And I said, why? He said, we've got no more turf. It's all gone. Whole lot of it in 7 days. And I said, what? He said, we are now sourcing turf from other turf farms to keep up with the demand for the beer. Now that's when the Happy Meal toy really takes over, okay? And this is the owner of that business, so I'm not making it up. His name is John Kelleher. This is what he's got to say.
Well, I guess it certainly did instantly improve our sales for our turf at that point in time. The numbers were fantastic, really. We ended up ceasing the promotion because we really ran out of turf. We were sourcing turf from other farms. This was an exceptional result for us. And look, the numbers speak for themselves. We had a 40% increase immediately within that first month on those sales from the previous year for that same time frame.
Okay. Who would love a 40% increase in like 8 days? Yeah, okay. Righto, so therefore what I thought I'd do is show you an example of my own wow. What happens is that when you're in this game of coaching or teaching, what have you, and as you can tell, or hopefully you can tell, I'm not a seminar speaker, okay? I am, just as you probably are, reasonably sceptical of a lot of seminars. I mean, some of them are the real deal, but most of them are get them high, make them buy. And we're not into that. You'll notice when I do my sell, let's call it tonight, I'm just going to say, if you're interested, talk to us. If you're not, basically die in your sleep. I hope that happens, you know. No, sorry, well, did I just say what I was thinking? Just go home and have a happy life. But the thing is that if I'm in this game, then I've got to continue to practice what I preach, and that is wow. So when I was told, well, you've got to write books and all this sort of stuff, yeah, okay, I wrote the normal book, but I decided if I was going to write books, I might as well be a little bit different and write a big book. And so therefore this is the book that I released, and it's called The Wow Manifesto. And anybody who gets this has to sign a form of insurance, because if they fall asleep whilst they're reading this in bed, there's a good chance they'll break a rib. In this book here is basically case study after case study after case study of all sorts of businesses that have done what I'm teaching you here tonight. It's an incredible swipe file. And what I thought I would do is just show you how I promote that, so that if you come up with your own wow, and you create, you know, things like this that are different from the pack, then what you want to do is put together a video like this. Now let me tell you about the WOW Manifesto, this gigantic dossier of winning case studies. It has 10 chapters in it, and those chapters go through a whole host of things. Basically the who, why and where is all about research and why you need to actually concentrate on your R&D before you put together a campaign. Chapter 2 is Be the Expert. We show you exactly how people gravitate to experts, and you only got to consider Steve Irwin and Gordon Ramsay and so forth to know that. Third chapter talks about how to create a wow factor and take their eyes off the price. The last thing you want to be doing is to be marketing your product or service on price. You want to get their eyes right off the price. McDonald's with the Happy Meal toy have been taking all of our eyes off the price for many years. Getting emotional, chapter 4, we talk about emotional direct response marketing tactics, and that's all about problem solution advertising, giving people a problem and then providing them with the solution. Lots of case studies there that you can just swipe and use in your business to promote your products or services. The fifth chapter is all about being outrageously different online, and I guess that's my nice way of saying fix your website, because around about 85 or 90% of business websites, in my opinion, are just woeful. They don't have the direct response inclusions that they do. Chapter 6 is all about how to hold events, and I show you how to do that. Chapter 7, we show you how to get video testimonials and just what you need to ask people to say when they give you a video testimonial. Chapter 8 gets you into my free publicity vault, and I show you how you can get free publicity for your products or services. It's really easy when you know how. Chapter 9 is all about how you deliver Disney-style customer service, which is really customer experiences. And Chapter 10 is all about showing you how to build repetitive trade, how to get people coming back and back and back to your business, not just making one sale with them, but making sure that they become loyal and they become a customer that just deals with you for many moons to come. Okay, now, who thinks this would be pretty good to have on their coffee table? Good. Well, what I'd like to do is give every single one of you, because you've come here tonight, you've taken time off, I'd like to give every single one of you this book. What do you think? No, I said I'd like to. Of course I won't, but I'd like to. You're a tough audience, yeah. No, I'll show you how you get your hands on that. But the reason I bring that up is because, you know, do you think that my book would stand out? Not that we sell this book in Demics or anywhere, but I mean, do you think it would stand out from one that size sitting next to it? Of course it would, okay. Now this book here is, you know, we print this book, I think it's $420 just to print the book, so obviously I can't give it away. But it jumps out from everything else, and I only want to demonstrate that to you because you've got to do that. You've just got, I mean, the thing that freaks me out is Movie World just put in $1 gazillion worth of new rides, but they've still got the entrance sign from 1842. Have you ever been to Movie World lately? There's cobwebs all over that sign, and it looks like it was done like 50,000 years ago. And I just want to knock on the door of the general manager of Movie World and say, have you heard of a thing called neon? Okay? I think it might be nice if you lit the joint up at night time, or even in the daytime, because you just want to actually say to them, I'll pay the money and take you to Disneyland and have a look at their entrance sign. It's not wow. It's not wow. Do you notice that Top Golf thing, anyone driving past the freeway at the moment sees the big illuminated thing? If you did not know what that was, and of course I do, but if you didn't, you wouldn't know what that was. Why would the dickhead who came up with that have the I'll draw it for you. Okay. At the moment, as you drive past on the freeway, they've got this big thing that looks like that, and I think they've got a little golf course like that, and it's got a few, bells and whistles like that. You've seen that on the freeway. Anybody seen that? Yeah. Why wouldn't they put Top Golf nightclub and bar and golf range? Because I'm telling you that unless you've looked into that thing, like I have, because it's a chain overseas and I know what it is, it's going to be like a bar and a nightclub and it's going to be the whole golfing thing. You wouldn't know what that was. You just go, a big illuminated sign, it must be a Kmart, Just crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, this one is an interesting one, and actually it's good that I backing up Movie World, because this is very similar in terms of they had this incredible idea, but they didn't know how to market it. And it was a crepe cafe opposite Channel 10 in Sydney, in Pyrmont. And that's what it looked like. They make these unbelievable crepes that are like a cornetto chocolate like ice cream, okay, whereby they wrap the crepe around in that sort of, drumstick sort of style, but they put the strawberries and cream and everything inside it. Now, there should be a queue outside the door. As you can see, there isn't. There's just an ISIS guy sitting there. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's planning an attack, or he's maybe protecting them because there's huge crowds going in, as you can see. They've got a crepe stall that's designed, I'm sure, by an accountant, okay? I've seen accountancy surgeries, there you go. I've seen accountancy offices more exciting than that. And I said to them, you need a makeover, really quick, smart. You've got the Disney sort of menu here, but let me have a look at the inside of it. Now, the guy's a lovely guy, and he's become a bit of a mate, I guess, now. And as a consequence of us metamorphosising this whole thing, he's now on to, I think, his third shop. This was the first one that was not going real well. In fact, so close to going south, I think he was biting his nails. So he joins my private coaching program, and I said, well, okay, it's at the outside, which is underwhelming. Can you show me the inside? He said, yeah, sure. And so this was the inside. And I said to him, oh, my God, where did you get the inspiration for the menu? Like from Central Railway Station's timetable, maybe? I mean, where the hell did you come up with that? Even the girl that works there wants to throw up. And he said, oh, not good. I said, well, half it's blank. And he said, well, what do I do? I said, you got 5 minutes. We can fix this in 5 minutes. And he goes, yeah, please, Mr. Copperfield. So therefore, I sketched out what the wall menu needed to look like, and then I gave it to my art studio. 48 hours later, this is what it looked like. Who thinks that might attract more sales than what he had with the railway station board? That's the before and after. Like a massive, massive change. And then on the outside of the building, we did this. Okay, we made sure that it was tarted up. The ISIS guy's still there. We can't do much about that. He just hangs there all the time, protecting the place. So before and after, massive. And I want to show this to you. He sent this to me. He actually said, thank you, thank you, thank you. He's opened up another one now in Birkenhead Point and somewhere else in Sydney. And he said, I just thought I'd show you what's happened since we've sectioned everything up. So it's all about the wow factor first impressions. This is his camera work, by the way, not mine. It was a desert previously. Okay, soon enough, but you get what I mean, okay? Now, what I thought I'd show you, for those of you who may be interested in private coaching, as I said, it's a few grand a month, but this is the sort of transformations you get when I actually put together a marketing plan. And for those of you who aren't, you go, oh no, he's just going to show off about his marketing plan now. First of all, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. You came for free. So therefore, the other thing is that even if you don't, and you're not the least bit interested in hanging around with me, have a look at what's in this marketing plan and do it yourself or give it a shot. For example, let me just ask, who in the room here at the moment, and God is watching, so you've got to tell the truth, who has put together a marketing plan for their business? There you go, 1 or 2 or 3 out of 100 and something, right? Now, isn't that weird? Because if I was to ask you, who thinks sales and marketing is the most important thing in business, because if you don't make a sale, you've got no business, all of you would put your hand up. I'm not going to go through that whole seminar thing, put your hand up, put your hand up, put your hand up. But if I said to you, do you believe that having sales or marketing skills, no matter what business you're in, is really the most important thing, I can guarantee that 100% of you put your hand up. And then if I said to you, okay, well, who's got a solicitor? You'd all put your hand up. Who's got an accountant? You'd all put your hand up. And then I'd say that 30 seconds ago you just told me sales or marketing was the most important thing in your business. Who's got anyone advising on marketing? About 2 or 3 put your hand up. Isn't it ironic? So it doesn't matter whether you've got the best sausages. As I said to you before, I've got lots of clients who've got shit products. They are nuts. I don't know how the hell they could even think about importing it from China, where the hell they get it from, but they're making money because we understand how to market. And I asked you, for those who came in a little bit later, who thinks McDonald's makes the best hamburger in the world? No one put their hand up, but they sell more hamburgers than all the hamburger shops put together because they understand something that starts with M, and it is marketing. Okay, so this is the marketing plan I put together for that cafe that you just saw. Espresso Cafe in the heart of Sydney. Again, usual overview, going through all of the... It's only 60 seconds, by the way. The website, I provide an overview. I talk about exactly what they've got on their website at the moment. I give a viewpoint on what's on their sub-pages. It was reasonably critical for this one. I talk about the fact that that page, which was their online catering menu, just didn't have any theatre, and then basically went through all the other sub-pages and just told them the sort of things that they need, okay? And then, as I get towards the, the layout section, I actually provide them with a layout of what I think their website homepage should look like. Keep in mind the homepage is the most important page of any website, so therefore I'm making sure that this is the local taste of Europe and why people travel to indulge in their coffee in the middle of Sydney, which is the case because people walk blocks in the CBD of Sydney to get their coffee, but they haven't been highlighting that. They haven't been actually positioning themselves as the experts, so that's what that's all about. Then I show them exactly what their sub-pages should look like. I go through pretty much their catering page, their menu page, the story about us, and of course the gallery of all the sorts of things that they provide in terms of catering and various meals and so forth. I give them the contact details of where to get the website done if they need it. Then we go through the marketing section, as you saw before, basically going through all of the stuff there. I actually put together a catering brochure layout for them so that they can actually then give that to the art studio, and it's all done so that the art studio doesn't have to think about it. I then show them text messaging and give them samples of other restaurants that we've done over time to show them exactly what they can do with text messaging and how they can actually fill their restaurant like within 15 minutes by just sending out a text message. And then I go through, show them how they can join two text messages together, because you can do that and perhaps increase the, the sort of response rate. We talk about the insured prize promotion. I show them how they can put out a cheque around the CBD for a $100,000 prize and get people to come in. Obviously that's an insured prize, so the insurance company provides that prize. They don't come up with $100,000. I talk about a catering promotion and how they actually should be having events in their cafe after hours and inviting the PAs of businesses who actually normally book the catering to come along and enjoy like a high tea or something of that nature. In fact, you can see high tea there. Then I show them how they can basically theme that, because if you're going to be attracting women, then it's nice to look like Audrey Hepburn, and so that's what those layers are all about. Facebook ads, remarketing, showing them how to do a buy one get one free. Give an example of a Burger Institute client that we have, which happens to be a burger company, and how they've been doing it, and so on and so forth. So there you go. That happens to be a very similar format of... Okay, so that marketing plan is put together within 10 days of our meeting. So what I do with people, because I realise that they want things to happen fast, and I want to differentiate myself from an ad agency. Anybody here, and I know that the size of businesses that we have in the room, the answer is probably no, but has anybody ever dealt with a Bewitched TV-style advertising agency? Anybody dealt with an ad agency? Okay, well if you have, then normally what happens, the old fart like me comes along and impresses you, and then guess what? Once you've signed up, you get the 23-year-old out of uni that looks after your account. And the way I look at it is that I've got 6 Gen Y kids, and so therefore if they ever watch this on Facebook Live, they'll probably want to kill me, but if you were getting heart surgery done, who would you rather do the surgery? An old fart like me that's done 1 million of them in his sleep, or the kid out of medical school who's 24 who says, you know what, I haven't done this before, but I'm going to give it a hell of a good shot. Now, where do I cut open your chest? I think it's somewhere here, you know. And I know that gets Gen Y's offside, but the fact is that I've done all this stuff in my sleep. That marketing plan gets put together within 10 days of our meeting, because there is no fart-arsing about. There's no stalling, it just gets done. And I just want to highlight that to you, because if you went to an ad agency, you would probably be waiting 6 months for the same thing. Sorry, 6 weeks, I should say. Okay, so therefore, what I wanted to do is actually give away one of our programs. I thought I might practice what we preach. Who would like one of these coaching programs for free? Okay, that's no good. You see, I've got an ego, and that is not good enough. Who would like to get one of these things for free? Yeah. Good, okay, there. Good. That's the sort of look I want. The guy jumping up and down doing a jet star jump. So what we're going to do is we're handing out some entry forms for you now, and I'm going to give one of my coaching programs away tonight for free. And this coaching program, as you'll see in a moment, is valued at $17,000. So it's a pretty good prize. And I'm practicing what I preach. I'm giving you a wow, and we'll get you to fill this form in and collect it in a moment, and then we'll draw one, and you can... Now, I'll tell you what's in the coaching program so you know what you can win. And this is it. Okay, you get a live teleconference with me twice a month. And what happens on Thursday fortnights in the morning at 8:30, I have a 1 hour teleconference, and you can ask me any question you like, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so the thing that really gets me is that when you join a lot of these people's coaching programs, again, you have the song and dance man out the front that does a pretty good show like this, but then when you join, you never get to talk to him. And anybody been in one of those? Anybody been in one of those things where you join but you don't get to talk to the so-called guru? Well, there's lots of people that have. And so therefore we've designed this program where I still make money out of it, but you get enough of me, okay? So this is called the Academy program, and live teleconference twice a month. We then have a private Facebook group, so therefore you can, and it's just your name and business, I think, all you've got to fill in. So what happens is that you can contact me 24/7. So on this Facebook club, no matter what question you have, you can post it up to the closed group Facebook page and I'll answer that for you. It could be within an hour, it might be a day or two, it just depends if I'm on the road. And this is the sort of stuff that people ask me. You'll see here, this guy's got a furniture shop. He says, hey JD, I'm looking for your stroke of genius. This will run in our state newspaper. Obviously it's an advertisement. Slightly larger version. This is Australia's best value lounge, blah, 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 blah. And you'll see at the bottom there, I say Bats. His name's Mark Battersby, so I call him Bats. Bats, you're already on the money with your suggested phrases, maybe even regarded by many as the best value lounge in Australia. But I also suggest you feature with humans enjoying the comfort. So the thing that he was missing there is what a lot of people miss, and certainly most of you do on your website. Humans. The golden rule of advertising is that if you are after a particular demographic, you better show them in your ad, because we're attracted to people who look like us. Do you think I hang around cheeky, sarcastic people? Yes, of course I do. Okay, there's a mate of mine that for the last 25 years, he doesn't know that the dirty Valentine's Day card that he gets every year is from me. Okay, he thinks there's some bird trying to break up his marriage and lick chocolate off his naked body, but that's me. I'm writing that. So therefore, I hang around with those sorts of guys that even at this age are silly and immature. So the thing is that we are attracted by people who look like us. So for goodness sake, when you're putting ads together, make sure you put ads together with the images of your target audience. Even if you're selling a widget, I don't care whether you're selling a filing cabinet, you would show the administrative person in most businesses that would make buying decision on the filing cabinet. This one here, for example, this guy actually looks after providing a software program to help electricians and plumbers and tradies get quotes. So he says here, JD, I've mocked up a few of the unhappy campers for the ads to split, because I told him, make sure they look unhappy until they contact you. You do all their quotes automatically for them. So that's what he's done. Which one looks best? Well, I picked number 2 here. So I go back to him and I say, mate, my vote goes to number 2, where the guy's in the blue denim shirt. Okay, we immediately know that he's a tradie and he ain't happy and blah, blah, blah. So we come back, and you'll see here there's a couple of other people from here, Joe Papper and a few of the others actually talk about things as well. So that whole Facebook thing is good in that you've got constant contact with me, but I think it's also good in that what we've found, I didn't expect this to be the case, but there's so many people in a community sort of involvement who actually help each other as well. And it takes the pressure off me to a degree, but obviously I always make sure that I respond as well. But it's actually a community thing where everyone helps each other. That Wow Central, you've already seen that. You remember the video that I played? Okay, so you get access to that, which is a 24/7, I think. I'm pretty sure there's the biggest ideas bank in the world. And then the marketing plans. That marketing plan I showed you, what we've done is put that together in Wow Central. So that what happens is that when you actually go into Wow Central, if you're an accountant and you want to have a look at all the accountancy marketing plans that I put together, knock yourself out, go in there. See, my private coaching program, I actually customise a full-on marketing plan like you saw the pages flip over before. But in this one, which is a less expensive program to join, I give you all the other marketing plans that I've done. But of course, we've taken out the names. Okay, we've taken out anything that's confidential in the names. But you can just swipe that. If you're a physiotherapist, you type in physiotherapist, you pick up that marketing plan, put your name on the Facebook ads or your name on the radio commercials or your name on whatever it might be, and just walk away with that marketing plan. And we've done that, and the reason I've been able to do that is that when people sign up for us, I say, listen, the Greater Building Society, and I'm not showing off about this, but it was the truth, I guess I am showing off, they were paying me $34,500 a month. That was the consultancy fee, so that was 400 odd grand a year. It was pretty hard for me to say to my wife a few years ago, look, I'm going to get out of this consultancy stuff into the coaching stuff. Because what I used to do is just McDonald's and Channel 9 and the Rugby League and, you know, Greater Building Society and Majority and all these big companies, and they would pay $100 or $200 or $300,000. Great, the lifestyle was shit. The lifestyle was crap, because when they pay that sort of money, they want their money's worth, right? So I got into this about 4 or 5 years ago, and I said to my wife, look, what we'll do is just cut up all of my intellectual property into bite-sized pieces and make it available for smaller businesses. And the only way I could do that and stay alive and make money was to create in programs like this, where there's enough of me that you get personal involvement, and you've seen that. But there's a whole bunch of resources in there where you can get what was between my ears that I've actually put into resources. And of course, this is one of them. You get a whole bunch of marketing makeover reports. That big book I've just shown you, so therefore you get that as well. You get the audio, the digital version of this, which is much more practical anyway. The fact is that you then can get into this at any time and flip over the chapters and just steal ideas. You see what I'm trying to do here? Because there is, in my world, only one of me, and I wouldn't make any money if I was to give everything away for this price. I've tried to have enough of me in here that would give you the one-on-one, but also enough of resources in there that you get my thinking. This is interesting. We've got one coming up next week, as you can see. So if anyone wants to join tonight, you can come next week. We have 3 throughout the year, 2-day conferences here at the Watermark. And what these are is pretty full-on workshops, and you can tell they're good fun. I mean, they're not tutorials. They're pretty good fun. And I bring in a number of my suppliers. So it might be Facebook guys, it might be Google AdWords guys, it might be graphic artists, it might be website designers. This one's coming up next Friday the 4th and Saturday the 5th. We've got the guy who ran Walt Disney Resorts in Orlando for 10 years. His name's John Formica, and he's going to be one of our guest speakers on the Saturday morning. He's absolutely knockout, and if anyone knows anything about customer service, it's someone who was a senior manager of the Disney organisation. And he's come out to Australia a few times, and we've done a few tours together, and that tour has been called If Disney Ran Your Business, What Would It Look Like? And this guy's knockout. So we have him and a whole bunch of other people on. That's next Friday and Saturday here. So therefore, if you join tonight, you're welcome to come to that. And by the way, people say to me, oh, can I bring a couple of girls from the office? Yes. These people that sell these programs, and then they say, oh no, if you want to bring a second person, it's 50% more. They're nuts. What do you think it cost me to put another couple of chairs down here? So of course, if you join and you want to come next Friday, Saturday, bring a couple of staff members with you, no problems. And webinars, what we do is twice a month we have a webinar. Now, my webinars are not death by PowerPoint. Who really gets frightened by webinars because they're normally slides? I do. I go, oh no, I can't sit through this. So because I'm a frustrated Tonight Show host, that's the Disney guy, but ironically. Mine are always interviews with people, or they're going to be more Tonight Show. Okay, it's not death by PowerPoint. And finally, the Supplier Networks Rolodex. So all of these things that I would put together and suggest that you do, you might need a website designer, you might need a graphic artist, you might need copywriters, you might need radio script writers, and so on and so forth. Television, video producers, they're all in a Rolodex list. And the reason I've done that is because if I tell you to do something, you go, well, I don't know where to get it done, you've got no excuse. And these people on my Rolodex are only on there because they're 3 things. They're good, they're fast, and they're cheap. Okay? I know that you aren't loaded because you're not Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola doesn't come to seminars. And so therefore all of these people, like this here, for example, you go to New York or London or Paris or probably even Sydney and you pay maybe $1,000, $1,500 for this sort of artwork. This is done by a graphic artist in Newcastle, $250. Now, and that is top-notch artwork, okay? And the great thing is, this guy is a chameleon. He can do that 1 minute, which is Kmart, and he can do this the next minute, which is Palazzo Versace. Okay, so the brief to him on this is, I want it to look like Kmart because it's $29. The brief for him on that is that Walt Disney meets Harry Potter at the Palazzo Versace. And that's how it turns out, okay? So all of these guys that I've been hanging around with, they understand this direct response stuff. And I want to give you an example. When I give them this, it's a video book. And if you want to get past the gatekeeper of any business, if you're a B2B business and you want to get past the gatekeeper, have a look at what happens with this. You may not have seen this before. They're called video books. Okay.
Well, that's just an unbelievable part of this program. Our turnover's gone from 3 million to...
Give me 1 second. I'll need a hand microphone if I can get one. Can I get a hand microphone? Anybody seen this, by the way, video books? Okay, I'll show you how it works. Pretty clever. They're out of China and they're $18 each. Okay, when you get 100, they're $18 each. So if you want to get past the BITCH gatekeeper that will never let any of your brochures get through to the boss, you send one of these and she has no choice.
Well, that's just an unbelievable part of this program. Our turnover's gone from 3 million to well over 4 million in the last 12 months. Our turnover's gone up that much because of the Fuel Quest program.
Okay, so he's boasting about my program. This is mine, of course. And so he went. He paid me $9,000, and he went from 3 to 4.2 million in 12 months. And now I hate him because he rings me from a 42-foot yacht in the Whitsundays and says, "JD, I'm on the yacht that you bought." And I want to stab him through the heart. So therefore, this is called a video book. If you're wanting to get past the gatekeeper and you're in the offline world, this is red hot. We get 100 at a time done for our own things, and they're about $18 a piece. So you can imagine if you've got a reasonable conversion rate, even if it's only in single digits, you're probably going to make your money back if you've got a reasonably priced product. Okay, so that's it. That's the program. And what we're going to do now is draw one. Who would like to win that program, by the way? Yeah. Good. Okay. And do we have a box or something, Jodie? Or so that is, by the way, this program is $1,497 a month. If you multiply that by 12, it comes out to about 17 grand. Okay, so the program for everyone is $1,497 a month, and it comes in at about 17 grand. Sorry? Oh, is there? Sorry. Yeah. Good. Okay. Good.
We don't mind.
Yeah. I used to run all of the bingo games for the News Limited and all that sort of stuff, and of course you can imagine it was my mum and dad. They passed away now, but at those years, it was some years ago, they were with us, and mum and dad got really lucky throughout that time I was running all those games. They won 9 cars. It was just amazing. They were really lucky. Okay, rightio. Okie dokie. You read it out? No, it's A-back massage. Daryl Smith. Daryl Smith, you here? Daryl, there you go, mate. You just got yourself. You got a microphone? Daryl, you just got yourself a $17,000 coaching program, mate. So you'll go home happy tonight. Can we just get a word from you, Daryl, and say something nice, preferably about me?
Oh, thank you.
Good, mate. Did you expect you're going to go home with $17,000 worth of stuff?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, good. Well, you're not, actually. It was only a joke. So, look, I'm going to... No, you are. I'm only joking now. You've got it. So, mate, yeah, the girls will get your details afterwards, and we'll get you underway. Yeah. Can you put your hands together for Daryl? Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue on. Who's enjoying this, by the way? Yeah. In fact, one of the girls over there, I like the way she said, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sort of all right. Still think you're a wanker." Oh, by the way, I saw Simon. Oh, there you are, Simon. Yeah, mate, could you do me a favour? Could you pop out for a second? Yeah, Simon only just walked in. You told me, you rang me and said you were coming, mate. But can I just give you a microphone before I go on to section 3 here, problem solutions? I'd like to introduce you to Simon. Could you just put your hands together for Simon? This looks like a plant, but it's not. And you can explain that you rang me yesterday about something and you said to me, well, when do you get your next thing on? I said, well, tomorrow night. And you said, oh, well, I'll call in after my meeting. Simon actually is a member of that program, that you've just seen. Do you mind if I call upon you to do the normal beat up?
Yeah, sure.
Tell them who you are and what you do, by the way.
Yeah, my name's Simon Cryer, and I've been in business for myself for nearly 2 decades now. And prior to meeting JD, I had a few businesses on the go. I was involved in a network marketing company, which was going awesome. I had my own supplement company that we were manufacturing and selling supplements, and I had a business consulting practice too. And I met JD shortly after we returned back from living in the States for a few years, and did the course because it just made sense. And it was really awesome until I found out from the tax office that the 3.5 years that we lived over in the States, they deemed us as residents for Australian taxation purposes. And we were looking down the barrel of about a $500,000 tax bill, God bless them. And so I know that we had to shut down our supplement business because that just wasn't performing. It was a bit of a dead horse that we were flogging. And so I came to JD's training, got some really amazing stuff for marketing, our consultancy practice, and I can tell you hand on heart, we would have lost our house if we hadn't been in this room. Listening to the stuff that you're hearing today. So we made an extra $100,000 in like 1 year, 12 months it was. We made an extra $100,000, and so we've gone on, we're growing our team. We've got a business manager, just brought on a new sales consultant last week, and so everything's amazing. So I would say to you, if you're looking to be entertained, I promise you, don't join this group. If you're looking to be entertained, you can get better jokes. I swear, honestly, you can. Honestly,
I don't know why I gave you the microphone.
You already know that.
Yeah. But could you tell the guys what you do, by the way? But, yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I did, didn't I?
No, you didn't say the real estate thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I help clients in real estate go from, say, $500,000 in income to $1.1 million in a year. So we do that, and we just specialise in the real estate space. So it's good fun. A bunch of the stuff that I've learned was from this forum here, to market my own business and also market theirs. So they're kind of getting a double whammy. So that's what I do. It's just been amazing. It's really taken off. Most of our business is word of mouth, but we've also learned how to do Facebook marketing and how to do this wow market. wow marketing and create unique experiences for customers too. So I wouldn't be here today, I wouldn't have a house today on the Gold Coast in paradise, and so just love it. Highly recommend, if you're an action taker, just get started. Just do it. And you've got some sort of guarantee, I hope? Well, you did when I was here.
Guarantee that there'll be very, very good dad jokes.
Very good dad jokes, yeah. So look, we were a little bit nervous, to be honest, because we didn't have money to waste. Not that anybody does, but out of all the courses, all the trainings that I've done, this is one of the top 3 courses I've ever done. And we've spent over $250,000 on our own business and professional development. So this has been, part of the top 3, so 100%.
Can I just say, so you know it's not a plan, when Simon rang me yesterday, he rang me about something, anyway, we had a chat about it, and then he said, what are you doing? I said, I've got a thing on tomorrow night. And he said, well, can I pop along and say something? And I said, oh, look, mate, he said, that looks a bit corny. And he said, no, look, I just want to do that. He said, I'm in a meeting, bro. And I said, well, okay, well, thank you very much. So I know it looks like a plant, but he doesn't travel around the country with me. So, mate, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Cheers.
And the dad joke thing, they are really funny dad jokes, but aren't they?
After they pay the money, they get funny.
They're good, okay, thanks. Thanks, mate, appreciate it. Can you put your hands together for Simon? No, thank you. And I do appreciate that, it's nice. And when Simon says he wouldn't have a house, the house that he's got is a very tiny little house at the moment. Simon has 11 children and it's basically a room. But anyway, he's got that, that's the main thing. Simon, they're sitting here going, oh, that's it. I'm joking. He's got 2 rooms, so he's got, I'm joking. Okay, right here. So therefore, let me just go through, and thank you very much. It was nice of you to say that, mate. Problem solution. Okay, so therefore, I want to run through this. There's 5 ingredients to problem solution marketing. And again, I know I keep on saying things can be a game changer for you tonight, but even if you decide not to hang around with me and get what Monsieur has got. Sorry, your first name again is? Daryl, what Daryl's got. See, I care about all my clients. He's only been on a member now for 5 minutes and I've forgotten his name. But anyway, the guy in the blue t-shirt. Rightio, so therefore, number 1, identify your prospect's problem. Number 2, exaggerate or aggravate the problem. Number 3, provide the solution. Number 4, provide proof. And number 5, a strong call to action. I don't mind if you want to grab out your iPhone and take a photo of that. And we ask people not to do videos because I'm a bit cheeky and I don't want people to sue me. But the thing is that if you want to take a photo of that, do it, because this could be really wildly valuable for you. Let's look at the Greater Building Society. Identify your prospect's problem. Guess what? Are you paying too much interest and the bank doesn't care about you? They don't even know your name. Are they treating you like a number? Number 2, exaggerate the problem. Guess what? They're a bank. They're not going to change. Number 3, provide the solution. Swap to the Greater Building Society with your home loan and you get a free holiday. Number 4, Betty Bankstown and her husband. We swapped and we got a free holiday. And number 5, a strong call to action. Call 13 1386 or go to greater.com. Really, really simple. Let's run through Jenny Craig. Jenny Craig's identify your prospect's problem. Are you overweight, not feeling good about yourself? Number 2, exaggerate the problem. Do you know that summer's just around the corner? Don't you want to look good in your swimsuit? Number 3, provide the solution. Take this dietary program and you'll look like Miranda Kerr within 4 weeks. Number 4, provide proof. You show the before and after. And of course, if the lady has not lost a lot of weight, just show a photo of Miranda Kerr. And then number 5, a strong call to action. That was a joke. I wasn't really meaning that you should use Miranda Kerr. Okay. So the point is that what you want to do is you want to give them their problem and then you give them their solution. Who at the moment in here thinks that they're providing a solution to people's problems? Everyone should put their hand up, because I don't know why you're in business if you're not. Okay. Rightio. These guys. Many, many years ago, before they discovered direct response marketing, Nurofen and Panadol thought that we were interested in this, that paracetamol, codeine and all the ingredients inside the tablet. Put cocaine in there, I don't care. I just want my headache gone in 10 minutes. And so now when they've gotten smart, they've actually got advertising which shows you that the headache's gone in 10 minutes. So the ad I'm just about to show you here is very good at that. It's a school teacher. She's got a whole bunch of little ratbag kids that are giving her a headache at school. And she looks around about 3 out of 10. She does not look that attractive. But she decides to get rid of the headache by pulling out the drawer, taking a tablet. As soon as she takes the tablet, she got lipstick, blush. She's gone to a 9 out of 10. And the kids are all well behaved. It's amazing what headache tablets do. Have a look at that.
When you're suffering with the aches, pains and congestion of cold and flu, it can be a real struggle. Introducing Nurofen Cold and Flu. Its dual action works with your body to target aches and pains and helps clear nasal congestion. So to get on with your day, trust the dual action of new Nurofen Cold and Flu, available in pharmacies.
See what it does to children? It's just amazing, that tablet. It's incredible. So it's all about before and after, and there's probably no better execution than this, or showcasing of this, than this particular lady. She's a good friend these days. Her name is Maura McGill, and she's Australia's #1 expert at menopause, helping women with menopause. And she believes in the natural remedies, not the remedies that have got chemicals. And so therefore, if the Today Show or Sunrise were interested in getting an expert on natural remedies for menopause, she's the lady that they contact. And she's here on the Gold Coast, and I said to her, do you have people travelling from all over the place? She said, yeah, I've got people travelling from, you know, Cairns and Townsville and Sydney. And that's what happens when you're the Gordon Ramsay of your industry. So at the moment, who in here that's in the servicing game, who thinks that they are the expert, that they're the Gordon Ramsay of the industry? Okay, yeah, I think I am. I haven't found anyone that can do all of this stuff. I found people that can do a bit of Facebook. I found people who do a bit of Instagram. I can find people who might be a bit layout artist and people who can write a bit of copy, but I haven't found anyone that's got it all. And if I did, I'd pay them $500,000 because it would stop me from having to run so fast, to be honest with you. But the fact is that if I am the Gordon Ramsay of my industry, I'm going to promote myself as that. So when you saw the ad pop up on Facebook that you responded to, I'm going to show off and say that I'm the best marketing guy in the country. Because if I said I was the 26th best marketing guy in the country, would you have given up tonight? I don't think so. You'd be looking for the other 25. So if you're actually the best at what you do, I'm not asking you to fake it till you make it. I'm just saying that if you genuinely believe that you're the best at what you do, then you do what she's doing here. And what she has done here is followed my system. This is a double-sided leaflet. You'll see up the top of it, suffering from mood swings, hot flushes and sweats. There's a problem. Audience is going to be a distressed 50-something-year-old lady. At last, there's a solution, menopause relief. And guess what? She's promoting herself as the Gordon Ramsay, the expert, and so on and so forth. The only problem is that the look of the brochure takes her down to the $2 Crazy Clark shop. It looks Kmart. And I said to her, if you're the #1 in Australia, you can't look like that. And she said, well, what do I look like? And I said, well, first of all, who's your target audience? And she said, any woman with menopause. I said, no. Do rich women get menopause? And she said, yes, JD, they do. I said, good. Well, you only target rich women, and we're going to put your price up from whatever it was, let's pick a number, $75 per consultation for 15 minutes to $150. Well, she nearly fell off a chair and went, I can't do that. I said, yes, you can, because there's only so many hours in the day, and you are the best in the country. People are flying in from Townsville. So we'll just double your price, and we will put out a much better leaflet that looks like this, and it will go to Sanctuary Cove and Sovereign Islands and all the rich suburbs on the Gold Coast. You will never ever talk to another woman without teeth again, okay? So therefore we are only interested in women who drive BMWs and Mercedes, and they will pay $150. Okay, you will never let anyone that looks like they've got a flannelette shirt or thongs anywhere near your surgery. There'll be a security guard going, sorry, you're not allowed, you don't have teeth. And so that's what we did. We actually upped her persona from that to that, and we put it out into all of the rich suburbs, and she was booked out for 3 months within a week, bang. And she only had one complaint, and that was from a Newcastle Knights supporter, so it didn't matter, okay? So the thing is that when we're putting this brochure together, we made it a 4-pager, and you'll see here on pages 2 and 3, when you open up the brochure, those ladies are not very happy, these ladies are happy. Here, I get copywriters these days, but I actually wrote this copy myself, so therefore you'll see the before and after. Do you struggle with any of these following symptoms? And of course, over here, enjoy not just relief, but enjoy what sort of relief? Quick relief. We don't get out of the car for coffee. We do Zarafa's drive-through. We do not buy land anymore. We buy the house and land. We haven't got time. If something takes too long to download, we throw it out the 5th floor window, okay? So therefore, we are running fast. So everything when you are in the service game, that's why I deliver marketing plans in 10 days, because I know you want them fast. So in this instance, I'm writing the copy to make people think that they've got a problem. And of course it says here, do you struggle with any of the following symptoms? Hot flushes and sweats, mood swings, tears and frustration, low libido, suffering sex life, relationship stresses, divorce threatening, foggy brain, scattered thinking. I got that far and then realised I had menopause. So I did a deal with a bit of a contra deal, and I've got to say to you, I'm much better now. I just want to highlight that. So before and after. Which one do you think positions her as the expert and is going to make a bucket load more money for her? Of course, the one on the right. And guess what? When you can double your rate. See, the thing is that in some of your instances, I'm not saying you've got a widget, but certainly if you've got a service, there's a good chance you can do the same thing. If you're marketed correctly, forget the $50 an hour or $100 an hour that you're charging at the moment, you might be able to increase that significantly. I don't know for sure until I know your business, but there's a good chance you are undercharging at the moment if you are the Gordon Ramsay. This is what her website used to look like, and that's what it looks like now with Donald Trump's colours, okay? And this is her. I just thought I'd play, she gave me a nice testimonial, very similar to what Simon just did.
It has made a huge difference to my income. My income in practice has tripled, no jokes, tripled since we started this.
Direct response marketing is an integral part of our design system. I never thought a marketer could resonate with a women's hormone practice, talking about dry vaginas and lack of libido. And yet he has managed to put together this amazingly professional website that talks exactly to the symptoms that my clients need to hear. It's fantastic.
Okie dokie, yeah, lovely lady. I've got to show you this one. I dug around to try and find the real leaflets, the finished versions, but I can't. I've only got my layouts. This was a locksmith, and I believe, looking at your websites, most of you are falling into this problem. He put out a leaflet that looks something like this. Now, this is not it. I've sketched it up so you get the deal. I've lost his leaflets. It's a damn nuisance. I have to recreate them because it's a great story. But I just sketched this for this evening. Okay, so he used to put this double-sided deal leaflet out around the Sunshine Coast where he was, and he's a locksmith, so guess what he showed? Locks. And he said, locks for your home, Sunshine Coast locksmith, and on the back of it he showed more photos of locks, because they're pretty sexy. And I said to him, mate, you're a dickhead. And which, by the way, if you do come onto the program, there's a lot of insults. It's just the way it is, but I cop as much back, so that's the way it is. I said to him, you're selling the features, not the, and it starts with B, not the benefits. It's got to be the benefits. And if it was the features that sell, then Jenny Craig's website would have pictures of bowls of rice. Okay? That's not what she sells. She sells people transforming their lives, and that's why her website will not show a bowl of rice. So it's not about the features, it's about the benefits. And in this instance here, I said, mate, we can fix that for you. You just want to get out of the way? He goes, yes, please. I'm a dickhead. So we just got him out of the way, and what I'm about to show you is what we did. I've done a layout because I've lost the brochure. But what we did is that we decided to do a letterbox brochure, but not a letterbox brochure, but rather a door hanger. Because letterboxes are fine, but I'm not saying that that's dead. I know everyone thinks letterbox brochures are dead, but for some bricks and mortar businesses, it's not. But there could be Big W and Kmart and everyone else in there with you. So what we did is I said, look, let's put it on the front door so that when they come home, then that door hanger will be on the front door. Pay a little bit extra for distribution, but it's worth it. And this is what we did. Okay, so when you got home that night, this guy's staring at you and saying, well, we called in, but you weren't home. Don't worry, we'll be back tonight. And then on the flip side of that were his locks. It melted his switchboard. He could not believe what happened. And he said it was just an incredible... Now, you can do exactly that on Facebook, which is what he does now. Okay, and I'll show you some Facebook ads in a little while to show you how to do this on Facebook. Now, what that's doing is scaring the living crap. And don't think that I'm evil, Dr. Evil. Maybe so. But my first draft for this was even worse. It was this guy carrying out children. So look, that was even worse. Okay, so I pulled it back a bit. So before and after. And of course, again, the one on the right is the one that's going to melt your switchboard. No, this is a beauty. This is where you really want to be on the edge of your seat, okay? As he talks himself up. This is what your website should look like, and most of yours don't. Now, this happens to be a sketch I put together for a company in Sydney, which is a childcare business called Cheeky Monkeys. This is at Warriewood. And what I want to do is take you through what the ingredients should be on the home page of your website, which is the most important page. So if I asked you what was the most important page of the Women's Weekly, you would say the front cover. Well, the most important page of your website, of course, is the front cover, home page, call it what you want. Up the top, need before or after school care for your child. Well, you've come to the right place. You do not have to make it rhyme. In fact, what we do in the Institute of WOW, anybody that has anything that rhymes, we get out whips and big rocks and throw them at them and kick them and all that sort of stuff. We basically just go nuts on them. Don't we, Simon? Yes, we do. I'm joking because I can see people go, oh, I'm not so sure about this guy. No, we don't. We do throw some rocks maybe, but we don't whip them. Okay, so therefore, the problem, just tell it like it is. Do you have bad back? Not for this mob, but for your physio, do you have a bad back? Well, guess what? I can fix that for you. It doesn't have to rhyme. When I got to the Greater Building Society, you know what? The advertising agency had charged them $75,000 for a tagline. Sooner or later, it's the Greater. Oh, I want to throw up, I said, why don't we get Michael Slater, the cricketer, and just say Michael Slater banks at the Greater? I mean, this rhyming thing, how far is it going to go? So the thing is, don't rhyme. Okay, so the second thing here is we provide them solution. We're the #1 choice for parents. We have a welcome video that tells them all about it. Now, it could be a cartoon video, the likes of what I played you before. It could be the owners of the childcare centre saying that, we're #1 in Sydney because of this, this and this. It could be that you talk about the theme. It's very Disney-fied and the little playgrounds that the kids have got Mickey Mouse and this, that and the other. Then we have a free report to capture data of the parents who have come onto this website when they've seen our pay-per-click advertising, and it might be something as simple as 5 top tips on keeping kids occupied after school. or whatever it is, 4th or 5th panel there, video testimonials from happy parents saying, listen, we dropped little Jimmy off there every morning at 8 o'clock, and guess what? First childcare centre we came to, that he was still there at 5. That was great. Normally Jimmy escapes. And then a call to action. So I want to show you how that works. This happens to be a orange orchard on the border of New South Wales and Victoria. And this used to be their website. And I said to them, oh, you are suffering from severe dickheaditis, yes. Because they must have thought that we were going to get hard nipples and go, oh, a plastic orange juice bottle, we've never seen one of them. Is that what orange juice looks like? Just silly, okay? So therefore I said, would you like us to fix it? And they said yes. So therefore I sketched this up. And I said to them, okay, we want to tell a story. If your juice is coming fresh from the farm, because if you had a farm, an orchard, versus Berry and all these big international groups that just make, juice off China and then bring it in. If you had a farm, do you think the country practice storytelling would be a big deal? I think so. It's fresh from the farm and it's real orange juice. It doesn't have any preservatives and no added sugar and all this sort of stuff. I mean, it wasn't organic, but it was almost organic, okay? And so therefore we went through, look how big the actual product gets. It's the benefits of the product. We know what an orange juice bottle looks like, for God's sake. So therefore when I give that to our art studio, this is what it turns out like, okay? And it's storytelling. And if you look at the before and after, who thinks the one on the right might just make some more money? A shitload more money, okay? Who here at the moment believes that on the homepage of the website they've got a good story? Be careful before you put your hand up, because we'll probably bring that website up. So it's all about Disney-style storytelling. It's all about what we call shit to gold. Okay, before and after, you can call it whatever you like, but it's shit to gold advertising. You show, if you're a gurney operator and you're cleaning, driveways, you show them what the driveway looks like before you got there with your high pressure water cleaner, and then you show them afterwards. If you're in the cosmetics business, of course, you show the lady with wrinkles, and then a month later she's got no wrinkles. That's what Photoshop's for. Anyway, so Lightning Ridge Opal Mine, I'll show you a transformation here. This is just an insane one. This is a tourist attraction in Lightning Ridge, and Greg Mackay is the owner. He was a member at this occasion a couple of years ago, and he's only just come back on board, which is great. So some people hang around for the year, and then they jump on their bike and go off, and some come back, some don't. Some stay around for 2 or 3 years. Simon, you're probably into your second year, aren't you? Yeah. So he just loves the dad jokes. But this is the level of signage that he has for this unbelievable... the Opal Mine is where basically he caters for mainly people in God's waiting room, they're seniors, and they're driving through on their caravan, and it's normally Esme and Barry. I don't know why, but that's always Esme and Barry. And they come through and they put the little hard hat on with the torch, and they go underground into the Opal Mine, and some of them come out the other end, okay? We lose a few, he told me, but some of them do come out. And when they're in there, they see those magnificent audio animatronic figures doing this. I think there's one, but there's one audio animatronic figure doing that, okay? And it really didn't excite me. The signage didn't excite me, although it was better than the one next to it. And I said to him, why did you only have half the people? He couldn't sort of tell me why, but anyway, and cats apparently were allowed in. I said, look, what's your website look like? Because it couldn't be any worse than this. Yes, it was. So that's the website. And I said to him, what were you smoking? Because whatever it is, I want some of that. That is fantastic. And he said, not good. I said, no. And I said, your walk-in mine, because that's what it was, a walk-in open mine. What did you call it? And he said, walk-in mine. Of course you would, of course. That's why Disneyland should have just been called Park. And so he said, well, you're going to fix it? I said, I think we should. So what I did was that it took me 5 minutes to sketch this up, and we've fastened this up for about 45 seconds so you can see what it's all about. This is how we fixed it. The webpage for the Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure. What I normally do is sketch out the layout in pencil, and then I put the black pen to it, as you can see here. Now we've ripped a piece out of the treasure map and put the big heading, Lightning Ridge's leading attraction, the Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure. Then of course there's the introductory video. Second panel is all about the chance to win $50,000, because not only will you enjoy yourself going through this adventure, you could walk away with $50,000. Then the next panel is all about what the adventure is all about. So therefore we go through 1, 2, 3, 4 panels and explain to them exactly what they're going to experience when they come into this adventure, so it's not a secret. Then we have adventurers giving us their video testimonials, telling you just how great it is. And the final panel would probably be just highlighting further why it's an attraction for all ages and for the whole family. So once again, you can see it's got all the components of the direct response mantra, that I suggest. It's got the big headline, it's got the welcome video, it's got the big prize to give away, and it's got video testimonials and explains to everyone what they're going to experience in this adventure. Okay, so therefore I give that to my art studio, and then the art studio comes up with this. So that's the website as it stands. As I roll down the website, it goes down like that, and then we'll put beside each other, which one do you think gets more people through the Opal Mine? You got it, the one that has been, let's call it Disney-fied. And it is so simple when you know how. Let me show you a few other transformations, but before I do that, this is the owner of the Opal Mine.
JD's transformed their whole business with just one idea. The transformation, as I said before, it is just amazing, the transformation, not even in the same class, and has put us in another category where we've actually attracted a wider range of customers. Our audience that comes to us, our customers that come to us now is far bigger than it was before, which is what JD talks about, widening the funnel, and that's made a major difference to our business.
Now, what I didn't explain to you there, when he told me that most of the people going through the Opal Mine were in God's waiting room, and you're still there, I thought the lights were going to come on and shit, there's no one here. Where'd they go? Just the lights went off and they all took off. They must have realised the cell's coming up. But when I said to him, look, you've got to broaden your audience, just like we did with that lady in the beginning with the ladies' incontinence issues, we broadened the audience back down to 30, 40-year-olds instead of seniors. In this instance, I said, if we broaden the audience to families, then can you imagine all of a sudden you're going to make a lot more money? Because there were no families going. Can you imagine kids getting excited when they went past that sign they saw in the first place? Well, now they do get excited because it's a Disney adventure style attraction. Okay, what I thought I'd do is show you some transformations of websites. Would anyone like to see the before and afters on this? Okay, that's not good enough. Would anybody like to see the transformations of before and after websites? Yes. God, you're tough. Okay, right here. So this is a hamburger shop over in Brisbane. And I don't know why they had the James Dean thing up there. I would have thought the picture of a hamburger would have been much more important. Because the thing is, if you look at what is the fold, the bottom of their computer screen, it would be around about there. So does that spell hamburger shop to you? Of course it doesn't, okay? Why they needed to be clever, I don't know, but some Gen Y artist decided that was clever. So I do the sketch like that, and then we give it to our art studio, and it turns out like that. We might have the lights out, it might just help this part, yeah. Okay, so you can see there that it's quite a significant difference. This one here happens to be a four-wheel drive company. That's my layout, and that's what it turns out like. You'll see that the mistake that a lot of people make, and a lot of you have made, is that when you put your website home pages together, you finish it around about the bottom of the first screen, or maybe one more. If you've gone to all the expense and trouble to pay money on Facebook and Google AdWords and SEO to get people to your website, don't you want to tell them a better story? Then you've got lots more story to tell than just stopping there. And if you design the homepage appropriately and you get them to keep on scrolling down because there's something more that they're going to be interested in, you'll find that they'll become sticky. This one here happens to be an optometrist here on the Gold Coast called Chris McMahon. That was my layout, and this is what it looks like now. Significantly more theatre and significantly more storytelling, okay, and more class. This one here happens to be... well, Darren, I think you're in... is your business down the safety one, isn't it? We've been texting, yeah. Yeah, so Darren might be interested in this one. This is a company called Stop It, and what they have is a little like key ring like that, and what it is that if you go into a mine and let's say a guy has a heart attack on a big tractor or truck and he falls and slumps on the wheel, there's a good chance that thing's going to wipe out a lot of people because it's out of control. And what this is a little remote control that anyone from up to a kilometre away can press it and stop the tractor. So it's just incredible. And this guy is an inventor, he's come up with this, but that's what he used to... Where do you think he's concentrating on? The actual stop it. It's called Stop It. No. What he should be concentrating on is, someone's just lost their mate because he didn't provide the proper, or that mine didn't provide the proper safety. Of course we've got to show what the little thing is, but you want to make sure that you are showing what the problem is and how you're going to provide the solution. And you'll see the headline that I've given him there. He never even had a headline. Just Stop It. The headline is Avoid Tragedies and Protect Personnel and Machinery. It's a wireless emergency stop technology, can save lives and safeguard machinery and equipment. And then when we put it together, that's what it looks like. But can you imagine that he has to, like Darren would, work pretty hard to get these guys, the decision makers, onto his website. And once he gets them onto his website, this is crazy. This is not going to give them any impetus to pick up the phone. In this instance here, this particular video here, which we've shot, it actually shows him talking to camera and just explaining some of the tragedies that have happened because these mining and construction companies didn't have this Stop It technology. The moment we did that, things just changed. Problem, solution, okay? And this one here happens to be here on the Gold Coast. They provided a lot of the sporting equipment for the recent Commonwealth Games. That's what it used to look like. This is what I sketched up, and that's what it looks like now. And I think we've got one more. I think this is it. This is an interesting one. The guy that's speaking at my conference next weekend, John Formica from Disney, he used to run the resorts for 10 years. That's what his website looked like up until about 4 months ago. And I said to him, when he used to come out to Australia and do a few of these tours with me, I said, John, you're Disney. That is like Kmart. That doesn't make you look like Disney. And he went, yeah, I know, it's not real flash, is it? So therefore, he said, well, can you help me? And I said, yeah, we're mates. So I sketched up what it should look like, which was more Disney, keeping in mind he is the product. Just like you'll find on my website, I'm all over it because I'm the product. In his instance, it's the same thing. And that's what it looks like now. Completely different. And he's just thanked me because, and that's the reason he's quite happy to appear at my thing next week, because he said his phone has rung off the hook. He said he used to get a lot of visits to that old website, but the conversions were low. Because there's a few Disney speakers out there, by the way. He's not the only one that's left Disney. Okay, so there's a few ex-Disney speakers making money out of it. And he said he's just, I've seen him on Facebook, he's booked out he's in bloody Wisconsin one day, New York the next, and Washington the next. He's just speaking all the time at big conventions. So he just flew out here to Australia about 3 or 4 weeks ago and did the Repco car parts convention for about 5,000 people down in Melbourne. And he gets paid 25, 30 grand to come out and do the speech. And he said ever since the new website's come up, he said the conversion rate's gone through the roof. And I just cut up what the actual heading used to look like on the old website. So therefore, if you go back to the old one, give me a second. Okay, sorry. I'll get back to it again. Okay, so that's the old one, and this is what the heading used to look like, and that's what his new heading looks like. Can you see like a vast difference? Like the theatre that's in his second heading, of course, is just not even in the same thing. I wanted to show you this one, and then Darren, if you don't mind, because you were silly enough to put your hand up, we'll bring your website up. Do you mind doing that? Yeah. When Darren registered, I looked at his website, and because I knew the safety thing was up here, I said to him, on email, would he like to just volunteer for us to throw it up there, and I can show you guys live what maybe I would suggest he'd have on his website. And I said to him, have you got a thick skin? And he said, yeah, he has no feeling, so that's good. Okay, but before we do that, my hosted holidays, this is an interesting one. This particular guy has a tour bus business, and so therefore he sends, again, seniors around Australia on tour buses, but he's just developed a new concept, which is an Expedia website for seniors. Because if you go into Expedia, basically it just caters for everyone, but it doesn't cater specifically for seniors. And what a lot of seniors want to do is go on coach tours and train tours and airplanes and boats and all this sort of stuff, but just with other seniors. So therefore he's just about to launch this, and he said to me, how do you think we should launch it? Because really at the end of the day, if he's lucky, Expedia or What If or someone will see this and just take him out. Okay, it is such a good idea because there's a market sitting there for seniors that hasn't been tapped. And so we put this website together for him where you'll notice that what we've done here is exactly what I said to you before. We've made sure that we show seniors, okay? These are the target audience that we're after. And the video there, I'll show you in a moment, we've got probably the most well-known senior in Australia to act as his spokesperson. You'll see all over that is storytelling. And then what we did is that I got this lady to be the spokesperson for him. And I'll show you what she's done. This launches in about 3-4 weeks' time, and I think he's going to make a mozza out of this, and this is going to fast-track it. So therefore, just like Seinfeld, she didn't quite cost the same as Seinfeld, but just like Seinfeld fast-tracked the stuff for the grader, this lady will fast-track it for him, and this is one of the TV ads that we're going to be putting on.
If you're like me, you love going on holidays. MyHostedHolidays.com has put together Australia's best hosted tour companies on one website, whether it be by coach, cruise, rail, or even an international trip. At last, you can enjoy the convenience of having all your hosted holiday options in one place at myhostedholidays.com.
Okay, so who thinks having Paddy Newton might help his business? Yeah, okay, that'll fast-track things from him on Facebook and the whole thing. Okay, so therefore what I thought I'd do, if you don't mind, Daz, all right with you, mate, if we throw it up? Now your website, so we can get it typed in, is? zeroharmsafety.com.au. Can you yell that out again? zeroharmsafety.com.au. So if you can bring that up. And look, the reason I'm doing this, and Darren was good to be the guinea pig, is because I want to show you guys, and I've looked at the website. Don't get me wrong, I looked at it yesterday, but didn't spend a lot of time looking at it. It was probably 5 minutes, so I haven't sort of sat down and thought, okay, how will this change? I'll do it pretty much working without a net here, so you can see that when you go away from here tonight, and if you decide to even do it yourself, at least you'll sit down there and look at your website, which is your director of first impressions. If you guys don't have a good website, you're in deep shit. Okay, all that money that you're spending to send people to the website, which is your director of first impressions, if it's ugly and it doesn't have the right components, then you're in deep trouble. Before I kick off with this, Darren, can I ask you, mate, how old is this website? How long ago did you get it done?
3 years.
3 years? Okay, good. And was it done through a typical web design agency, so it was a creative person?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. And I won't do the whole ponytail thing, but okay. So therefore, when I came onto it, let's freeze it there. Can we just freeze that there? Stop the slider. If you can just stop the slider. No, come back to that slider. Okay. Can we just come back to the slider, maybe? Yeah, okay. I thought it was a restaurant. Okay. There's no way in the world that I did. Oh, by the way, can you just explain to us again what the business is?
We're a safety compliance business, specialising in electrical, fire, pest control, everything for aged care.
Okay, so if you walk into an aged care place, you would actually say, look, your fire alarm things there are not right, we've got to fix those.
Yeah, we test and install
all them.
Maintain.
And you would get into the electricity boxes, like we can see that guy, and make sure everything, yep.
Correct.
And you're going to be, the benefit for the retirement resort is what? They save money, obviously, but what's the benefit?
Oh, they need to have compliance for government approval and for their funding.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, so it's pretty important. But does that image there tell you guys, well, they're obviously a safety compliance company, we've got to get our smoke detectors looked after by them, otherwise we won't be able to have picnics in the winter. And then can we slide up? Okay, that one there, I don't know whether we can freeze it, but again, when I saw that, I just thought it was like, I don't know, whether it was Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation. I wasn't really, it's just, there's no way in the world that first image would tell me what you do. Who agrees with me? Okay, so therefore, that one is close to it, but by the same token, still not what you want, okay? If I was to say to you, what is the major motivating factor for anyone booking your services? What's the thing that gets them off the fence? They get your services because, like, if I'm going to take Jenny Craig's program, then I'm taking it because I'm not feeling good about myself. I'm overweight. Bingo. So why would I book you up? Why?
Because it's a legislative requirement.
Yep. But why you and no one else? Well, there's another dozen of you out there.
We do all the service. We're the only ones in Australia that do all the services as one-stop shop.
Right, just stop there. Who thinks that's a pretty good headline? Okay. When I have shown you all the stuff in my wizardry, do you notice I've gone from brochures to websites to doodle videos to TV scripts to Paddy Newton to bloody Jerry Simon? Who wouldn't want me as a marketing manager, for God's sake? Even if you had to put up with the dad jokes. I've gone through all of that spectrum and said, look, I do all this. Bang, bang, I just don't do websites, or I just don't do Facebook ads. Go to another seminar and you'll see a 23-year-old doing that. We've got the whole damn lot. And if you want to come on board something, and Simon, you tell me whether or not I'm, bloody blowing wind up my backside, it's pretty much one-stop shop, isn't it? Okay, and therefore, if I am going to design these things, do you think I want to put the Facebook ads together? No way. That's not where you want me to be doing, not for what you're paying me. You want me to give you a Rolodex and tell you go and get Mitch to put it together for you. So therefore, I've got me as the creative guru, if you like, but I've got these Rolodex suppliers that will make all this shit happen for you. So the thing is, people come to the MyPro because it's a one-stop shop. They don't have to go looking for a Facebook expert. They don't have to go looking for a copywriter. They don't have to go looking for a website designer. It's all there. And it's all by people who understand direct response, not by some ponytailed graphic artist that set up a website design company in his bedroom. And so therefore, in Darren's instance, I think a huge part of what he should be saying right up front is a one-stop shop. So can you repeat that to me again? You are the only?
We're the only supplier in Australia that does the total compliance service for aged care sector.
Okay, so I won't write it all out because it's too long, but therefore basically what we're saying here is that you are the only supplier of Australia in safety equipment, blah, 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 everything all under one roof. And that to me, as far as if I was a decision maker at an aged care centre, we go, yep, that makes a hell of a lot better to me. And in this video here, you would have a video. I notice you don't have any video on there. Maybe just to scare the shit out of them. The place is on fire and you've got a whole bunch of people doing this. No, I was joking. I'm going to hell, all right? Okay, but a lot of you are coming with me because you laughed. Yeah. So the thing is that feigning being a very sick joke like that, you would actually have a video here saying that you know that you need to be compliant, but you know that if you go through other companies, you're going to get one thing here and one thing there and one thing here and one. Guess what? You come to us, a bit like what I'm saying here tonight, you get it all under one roof. And as we scroll down that page, if we can just go down a little bit, okay? Just here, by the way, that guy there, the mass murderer, if we could just bring him back. Can you go back to him? Okay, that guy there. Okay, I tell you something. What? No, I'm joking. All right. Remember at the beginning of this thing, I said if you're thin-skinned, leave. So the thing is that this guy here, that damn slider. Who, by the way, who thinks that they would sit there to watch all 5 sliders or 4 sliders? No. I'm not a great fan of sliders because when was the last time you, well, I'll just sit here and go through 7 of these. I'm not going anywhere else on the website. I will not scroll down. I'm going to watch all 7 sliders because the website designer, that's the way he's done it. So I'm a fan, moreover, of just 2 sliders at the most because no one's ever going to see the 3rd one, or just making sure that, you know, you've got a big, you know, pretty wow heading. Now that guy there we can't freeze frame, can we? Can't, okay. But that guy there with a whole bunch of red and blue wires out, is he telling you anything? I mean, what is that? I mean, there's nothing there. There's no benefit photo. There's no benefit statement. It's just a guy with a bunch of wires. I don't think anyone anywhere is going to go, I've never seen that before. It's an electrician with wires. That's something new. We'll have to get them. There'll be no other electrician could do that. And look at that family table. So can we scroll down? Okay, keep coming. And now, of course, we come to the absolutely mandatory icons, which is what every web designer wants because it's cool and funky. Let's not put real photos there that mean something to someone. Let's just put vague icons. And so, therefore, I'm not quite sure what this is. Maybe is that a no space alien area or cockroaches? I know, but so the thing is that. You know, unless the icon is absolutely really clear, I'd stay away from icons and put real photos there. Okay. And in this instance here, when I clicked on any one of those when I was in my own office, can we do that? Can we click on one of those? Oh, we can't. Yes, we can. Okay. Click on that. Oh, okay. Well, that's no good. You didn't mean that. But anyway. Darren, this is not a plant. I didn't do that. But if we click on another one?
Yeah, they all don't work.
Oh, they all? Oh, really?
I noticed that the other day.
Oh, really? Okay. And I didn't know that happened, quite frankly. But I thought I'd gone through to one, actually, that just had a little bit of information. That's why I was going to be...
I've got a graphic artist working on it at the moment.
Gotcha.
That's what's happening.
Gotcha, yeah, okay. Well, that's fair enough. Look, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, when we went through to the pages, it didn't give me anything but just information. And my view is that every single web page should be sales focused. So every single web page should be problem solution, okay? Well, thanks, mate. Darren's a good sport to let us do that. Thanks. We're almost at the end, guys, but there's a couple of things I wanted to show you here that I think are pretty important before you leave. First of all, do you mind if I do spend 5 minutes, and only 5 minutes, on telling you how you can hang around with me? Is that all right? Can I get your permission to do that? And if you didn't give me permission, then I'd just do it anyway. As I said, I hope that if you... Right, we back to the slide that we're at, mate? No. Just before we do this last couple of slides, any questions that anybody wants to ask about anything at all? Any relationship problems? I'd love to answer those as well. I can see there'd be a few of those in the room, I'm sure. Any questions at all? None? Yeah, mate. Nice and loud. We just wait for the microphone to come to you.
Most of the things you're talking about is one-to-one business. You're talking about solutions, problem and solutions. We have an online marketplace, but we have 2 sides of the problem. We're having the vendors or the provider and the customer. Mm-hmm. So what would you have a solution for something like that when you're talking about our website? Like you probably looked at our website.
But when you say online solutions business, what is the business? Because that's a pretty motherhood statement. So what do you do?
What we do, we're providing online marketplace for moms especially, or women who stay-home mom, or to provide them extra income by providing this service. Can be home food
Yep, so what you're after is that you're giving, let's say mums, for argument's sake, the opportunity to market their products or services online like a Gumtree. And then, so you've got two people, you've got to look for those mums that are interested in advertising on your website, and then you've got to get traffic to your website so that they will sell stuff.
That is correct.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much, yeah, what everyone, I've got to get you here to sell stuff. I'm exactly in that. When people say to me, oh, do you do B2B? I say, that's what I do. That's what I do. And that's why you're in the room here tonight. I'm B2B. So in your instance, you would probably, I don't know, what are you doing at the moment for advertising into? Because you can't get people really interested in visiting your website at least a second time around unless you've got lots of content in the first place.
That's correct.
So that guy with Paddy Newton is exactly the same. What he wants is to get a lot of tour operators to come onto his myhostedholidays.com website, because if he doesn't have them on there like Expedia, there's nobody going to go onto that website to look for hosted holidays, are they? And guess how he does that? I've been with him on the road and things like this where we've had all of these people with bus companies and train companies and tour companies, and we're showing them Paddy Newton and saying, this lady's going to be promoting this Expedia sort of thing. Do you want to be in on it? They just queue up. Who's not going to want to be in something that's going to be marketed by her? A perfect message to market match. So in your instance, I would suggest, well, let me ask you, so in your instance, how do you market to mums at the moment to get them to advertise?
At this moment, we just soft opening, soft launching just 5 days ago. So we just started it. So we're in the early stage. But what we're doing, like everybody do on social media, Facebook, we're creating just an event happening on the Mother Day, inviting all the mothers, called the Mother Day picnic. So to get the community around, because the main goal for us is really to get this mother together. It's not about the one-to-one sell and go. It's about building the community and building for them the business, the right business. Okay,
I'll answer that as we go through some of these things, because I think I will answer it for you. You need to get mums who are interested in running their own business from home to advertise on your website, because that's where your revenue is. I gather you take a percentage of the action as well, and then you've got to get the general public to come onto that website. But you've got to populate that website with advertisers in the first place. I understand that. Leave it with me and I'll come to that as we go through this. Okay, what I want to do is just let me go through this here. I want to show you this. Okay. Facebook advertising. I want to finish off with Facebook advertising, because the thing is that quite a few hands went up. It can be instant money for you, like crazy instant money if you get it right, or it can be a vacuum that just sucks money away if you get it wrong, and most people get it wrong because they don't understand how to use it. Now, this happens to be a resort in Vanuatu called the Havana Resort. Anybody been to Vanuatu or been to this resort? Havana? It's just knockout. Okay, this thing is just absolutely 5-star. They've only got about, 25 bureaus. And they said to me, listen, we're very low on occupancy and Expedia are ripping us off, and What If are ripping us off, and so therefore really, is there anything you can suggest? And I said, well, who is your most profitable target audience? And they said, well, people mainly out of Brisbane and the Gold Coast, because they're normally running their own business and they just need a 5-day break. And we're 2 hours from Brisbane's airport, whereas Fiji from Brisbane or Sydney is like 3.5 hours. And I said, fine, okay, so you're after rich people? Because these rooms start at maybe $350 or $400 a night, and they go through to $1,200 a night with a little, plunge pool and all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely gorgeous, this place. So look at that from the air. And so therefore I said, okay, well, in that case, let's just talk to those people. And he said, well, how? I said, well, what we'll do is put together a Facebook advertising campaign, but only in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Won't be anywhere else, because we all know that Facebook is the most laser form of advertising the world has ever seen. If you want, in this instance, chief executives or people earning $100,000 or $150,000 a year or more, or business owners, then you can just say to Facebook, that's the only people that I want to see my ad, and they'll make that happen. So that's the great part about it. In my instance, when I'm trying to fill a room like this, we use the lookalike audience profile to make sure that we are only getting business owners. Okay. Now, I don't want uni students in this room. They've got no money. I don't want to teach them anything if they've got no money, okay? Because what I want to happen here is that there'll be a percentage of you go, shit, this is good stuff, I want to hang around you, how much is it? And if you don't even say that tonight, then a month or 2 or 3 months later, when you go home and try and do it yourself, like you don't take up the personal trainer, you try and lift the weights yourself, you go, shit, I think I'll go back to the personal trainer, a lot easier. I want you to know where to come. Now, if you're a uni student, you've got no money, I've got no chance of making money out of you. So we try and stay away from that. Doesn't mean to say they can't sneak in, but I'll put my lookalike audiences together of businesses that look like this, this and this. So in this instance, you'll see there, what we're selling for them is a VIP pamper offer. We don't say what it is because we want this to be a two-step sell. We want them to actually click on the ad and go to the landing page and then find out what it's all about. You'll see here, if you've been working hard, this is the language of the CEO or business owner. Tell me as a business owner if this relates to you. If you've been working hard and need a relaxing break with luxury and pampering, Melbourne's not your answer. You'll see what that's all about in a minute, but of course we're showing what Melbourne looks like. For a similar flight time from Brisbane, 2 hours, you could be in beautiful Vanuatu enjoying platinum level indulgence and relaxation. The Havana Resort isn't about time you got to enjoy some pampering, blah, 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 okay? And when you click, not click, even before you click, this is a video, okay? This is not a static photo, and this is the video. So after seeing that, who wants to go to Melbourne? Anybody? Okay. So you can see the game that we're playing there is that we're showing them that the 2-hour flight can take you to Melbourne or 2-hour flight can take you to Paradise. Then we send them to a landing page, which I've sketched up like that, and when I give it to my art studio, that's what it turns out like. If you're looking for a short, indulgent break in Paradise, you've just found it. So keep in mind you've clicked that ad because you've watched the video and you come through to this. And it says to you, look, we're going to actually give you a VIP pamper deal, but to give you an idea what it is, because it changes from month to month, depending upon, seasonality, then give us your details and we'll tell you what the deal is. But guess what we collect in the first place? We get their details, okay? So it's a two-step sell. Result of that was $912 in Facebook ads over 4 days and booked out for 3 months. Do you reckon Expedia could give that to them? Not a chance in the world, okay? Why? Is because it was laser targeted. Okay, I thought I'd show you some Facebook ads and what you should be thinking about doing with them. This happens to be a company. I've changed the name on some of these because they wanted to keep it confidential, so there's no such company called Fix My Vehicle, but that's weird. You'll see here that this particular mob actually pick up your car and deliver it. Now, who gets that service at the moment from the local car mechanic? Anybody? No. So you'll see underneath there, get treated like a VIP, in other words a Hollywood star, with your next vehicle service, free pickup and delivery. Talk to us today. We're very different from most other mechanics. We believe in providing Disney type customer service, and we provide complimentary pickup and delivery of your vehicle. Now, can I ask you this, if I say to you that you would get Disney style service, do you get a particular image in your head? You do, don't you? I think you're probably going to think you're going to get pretty special service if it's Disney style service. This one here, again, collecting data. It's a marine equipment store here on the Gold Coast up near Coomera, and we're saying if you own a boat, it's a boys' toys business, so therefore if you've got a boat, they give you all the boys' toys you want to put on it. If you own a boat, then here's a chance of winning $250,000. Now they get that $250,000 for about $4,000, okay, from the insurance company. If you own a boat, how does a cool free $250,000 sound? For every $100 you spend with us, you get free entry into our $250,000 cash sweepstakes. So you see how that works? If you're going to get, I don't know, a Geiger counter or whatever they've got on these boats, I'm not a boatie, but if you're going to get something like that and you had 3 boat marine equipment suppliers that you can get them from, do you think the fact that you could win $250,000 from this one, if the prices were about even, you'd probably go with this one? I think so. It's got a wow factor. Now, real estate agents, I've got a lot of these people who come on board, and I know that we've got 1 or 2 that put their hand up here that, oh, let's see, how many real estate agents do we have in the room? 1, 2, okay. They're really weird people, okay? They're really weird people. And the reason I say that, and you know, they've become mates when they're on this program because I am a bit cheeky and they give it back. Just weird shit, because they're after listings, okay? They haven't got any inventory to sell unless they have a listing. And getting listings is snack easy if you know how. And I'm not saying that to tease these 2 guys, But what they will do is that they'll put out 10 or 20,000 leaflets into what they call their farm area and say that we have buyers in your area looking for homes, basically an exaggerated version of what used to be that little business card with the supposed handwriting on it. And the statistics, and Simon, who's in the real estate coaching game, will agree with this. The statistics are if they send out that leaflet to 10,000 homes, they might get 20 or 30 people get a free valuation, because that leaflet will say, you want to know what you're sitting on, why don't you get a free valuation? And of course, out of those 20 or 30 people who put their hand up for a free valuation, ultimately within 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, they might get 10%, 20%, 30% of those people that list their home. Fair call? Okay? It depends on, there's some agents that say, oh, we get 50%, but most agents would get out of a valuation of 10, they might get 1 or 2 or 3 listings. So I just had a real estate agent recently, his jaw just hit the ground. I said to him, no, you're a dickhead. And he goes, oh, okay, he's in Perth. I said, why don't you, if you get 2 out of every 10 valuations come in as a listing, why don't you just give out 10,000 valuations? And he went, what? I said, mate, there's a thing called RP data, you've probably heard of it. And so therefore you don't go out and check the house, you just put a check on the door like a door hanger or under the front door, not a letterbox, and it's got $1.4 million and it's got the Commonwealth Bank lookalike all over it. When they get home tonight and they pick that up and go, 1.4 million, is that what we're sitting on? I'll get rid of those Gen Y kids, we'll sell this place and downsize. You give them 10,000 appraisals. Can you imagine the listings? He hasn't slept since, because it's just flipping that model. It's doing an Uber, it's doing a disruptor straight away. He's been sending out asking, would you like an appraisal? Forget would you like them, just give it to them. So therefore, that and this sort of thing, I say to real estate agents who only sell ghost houses. I've never seen a real estate agent ever sell a home that anyone's ever lived in, because if you look on realestate.com or Domain or go back into the old days with the window or even the newspaper, it's just empty front yard, empty backyard. They'll have a fireplace, it's never on. There's no kids with marshmallows or anything like that. Empty bedroom, empty bathroom, empty home theatre. No one's ever lived in this damn place. And what did I tell you at the beginning of tonight? That the most important thing to put in your advertising is an image of your target audience. So if you're selling to baby boomers like me, you would show them on a rocking chair having a cup of tea or wine in the kitchen. If you're selling a unit in Sydney at Piermont and you Gen Y's with the audience, you show, boyfriend and girlfriend in the kitchen smoking dope. So the thing is, it's called message to market match. And no real estate agent I've ever met does it until they come into our world. And in terms of their advertising, guess what? I say to them, have you ever sold a house in 30 days? They go, well, yeah, not very often, but, we've sold. A guy in Adelaide called Mark Battersby, he came on board and he said, well, yeah, I sold one, in 21 days. I said, good, there's your headline. So your headline on the back of your van, on the front of your bloody real estate agency, on everything you do, would you like to sell your home in just 30 days? Because we've done that. I mean, my ad to get you guys in here was, this guy got 812,000 leads in 7 days. Do you want to learn how to do it? Who responded to that ad? Did you see that one? Okay, I'll tell you who that was. It was New Idea magazine. We had a scratch bingo game, and you had to get the scratch card out of the bingo, out of the magazine, and you had to ring up a 1-800 number to get your numbers to scratch out each day. We got 812,000 phone calls from people finding out what numbers they had to scratch. So the thing is that can I say to you, every one of my campaigns will get you 812? No, you don't have a 1.5 million distribution of a magazine. But that got you here. And just like a real estate agent, if you've sold a home in 21 days, bloody tell them. We can't guarantee it, but we've got a history of every now and again selling a home in 30 days. So use the benefit-driven headline to get people to your website. This one's interesting. It's an orthodontist in Melbourne who specialises in children's braces. So we're just about to launch that. We're going to give you an iPad when you come in. Now, to get braces these days for children, it's about $400,000. It's a lot of money. I'm joking, but it's quite a bit of money. But you can certainly sort of put an iPad in there to make you different from anyone else. Cockroaches, same thing. This is an interesting one. It's a spa in Melbourne that gets rid of hair. And they've asked if I could come up with a campaign for getting rid of hair with Greek men. There's a lot of Greek men in Melbourne, okay? And I said, why would you want to do that? Because less than 10% of their business is men, but you can lead the horse to water. They still want to do it. I wouldn't do it. A waste of time. I'd just rather increase the women than the men. But anyway, so that's what we're doing here, is that take a photo of your husband or boyfriend with his hairy chest, and if it's the best photo or funniest that we've got, you can win a weekend away at the Crown Casino. And you see what we're doing there? We're getting contact details. And speaking of such, I want to show you this one because this is quite stunning. There's an aluminium fence contractor in Gosford, New South Wales, and he said to me, look, Facebook doesn't work. I said, no, it doesn't work for you because you're a dickhead, okay? And what he was doing, his Facebook ad was, very creatively done. It was an ad like that, and it had an aluminium fence like that. And he just had down here, do you need an aluminium fence? Because if you're in an older home with a paling fence, you might want to upgrade. And of course he wondered why he wasn't getting anywhere. And I said, you're showing the, starts with F, you're showing the features. You've got to show the benefits. He goes, how? I said, good. Get out of the way and we'll run the ugliest back fence in Australia contest. And we'll put the Facebook ad on only in geographic areas that have got 30 or 40-year-old homes with paling fences that are falling over. And we'll invite them to take out their iPhone and take a photo of their crappy back fence, post it to your Facebook page, and then you will have a database from heaven. We had to stop this in 3 days because he had 2 years worth of leads. 2 years worth of leads. He rang me up and said, we've got to stop it. 2 years worth of leads. And that was one creative, that was the other creative. So we just split tested both of those. So easy when you know how. It's just so easy to get leads if you run the two-step selling process. That's the landing page, by the way, where people were posting their ugly fences. Can you imagine? It just flushes out everyone. We've got kitchen renovators now that we do the same thing for. If you've got an old, ugly kitchen, then just take a photo of it and post it to our Facebook page, and you're in the chance to win a kitchen makeover, which costs him next to nothing. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
So you can target geographic areas.
Yep.
And can you target, for example, the boat? Can you target boat owners?
Yes. Yeah, you can. So, and the reason you can do that with Facebook or Instagram is that when you take out an Instagram or Facebook ad, then you actually put in your, basically traits, what you love and what you don't, this, that and the other. Facebook know more about us than our wife or husband. And so therefore you say to Facebook, look, I'm only after boat owners, which traditionally are people near the coastal areas, by the way. So therefore, that's a bit of a giveaway too, when you're looking for postcodes. So in the Gold Coast, for example, would be along the coastline. And your ad will only pop up in front of them. That's the reason that this Facebook thing is so dynamic. It is so incredible. It's the most laser form of it. Because you put an ad in the paper, and if you're a pest control, if you're selling gymnasium equipment and you put an ad in the paper, 95% of people that have bought that paper are not interested in gymnasium equipment. Or if you put an ad on radio on Hot Tomato, 95% of people are not the least bit interested in, health and wellbeing or weightlifting equipment. But you can actually go onto Facebook and say, I only want this ad to come out in front of gym junkies, and your ad will only come up in front of gym junkies. Like there's no wastage. Well, minimal wastage. So that's why it's so clever. Just so before I tell you what the cost is of my program, this is the event that I've got coming up next week on Friday and Saturday. And these are just 60 seconds of a few people saying some nice things about the event. I thought it might be worth playing this because if you do join up, you're eligible to come to this next Friday and Saturday here.
JD's workshop's been fantastic. We've learned about video cards, promotions, Facebook advertising. We've also learned that as we get ideas and things like that, we now have a lot of people around us to help us bring those to fruition. So now we've not got the ideas, but we've also got the tools to implement in our business and increase sales. So it's been fantastic. Recommend it to everyone.
The last 2 days' content at JD's conference has been absolutely brilliant. Totally up-to-date Facebook hints and ways to implement them, and also great speaking on copy, and also some great guest speakers as well.
It's definitely been very valuable. Obviously, Facebook Live, we're checking all the bits and pieces yesterday. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't been implementing in our business, and we will take a lot of this direct marketing into it, obviously in the future. So it's been very, very good.
Hi, JD's workshops really showed us how to turn the Facebook into a sales tool.
I found JD's workshop to be fantastic. One thing that we're already doing a lot on Facebook, but there's so much more we can do. But one of the things that really stood out to me that we need to focus on in our business is the competence and training of our own staff to increase the value to our customers. So that's been great for me as well.
Well, I've never laughed so much and learned so much in the same time. I'm in the event industry, and I'm walking away with a whole bucket load of ideas to increase my turnover.
Okay, so therefore what I'll do, guys, is zip through this and tell you how you can become part of all this stuff if you're interested in it. There's two ways of working with me or me working with you. Number one, there's the private coaching masterclass program where you have unlimited access to me. So basically, I become your quasi-marketing manager. And the reason I say unlimited access is because all you need to do is ring Jodie. Jodie, if you can put your hand up. Jodie is down the back. And she's the lady with the sort of weird hand movement there. Yeah, okay. So therefore, if you ever want to talk to me, then you just book in a call with her. and you have unlimited access. So therefore I sort of become your marketing manager. I put together that report that you saw, basically a marketing action plan for you, and what happens is that when you join that, and I won't spend much time on it because really it's for businesses that are probably doing 750 or more, and I'm not sure how many of those we have in the room tonight, but it's, you know, because it's $3,000 a month, or it's 2,997, it's never $3,000 a month, then of course, you know, it's not going to be for a startup. But basically we get together, we send you a questionnaire straight away, you fill that in, send it back online. I know all about your business and what you've been doing on Facebook or what your website looks like, all that sort of stuff. And then we have an hour call. And at that hour call, basically I interrogate you based on your questionnaire, and then I provide you with a marketing plan, which is normally 30 or 40 pages within 10 days. And then after that, I just help you execute that marketing plan. And because you have unlimited access, you can ring me whenever you need to. Now, the one that's probably suitable for most of the people in the room, because I suspect that most of you are doing under 750, is the WOW Marketing Academy, which is structured access to me. No need to go through it because I went through it before. It's the one that Daryl won, okay? So it's the program that Daryl won. However, that particular program, I'll just go through it quickly. You've seen all the stuff that you get in there, WOW Central, the WOW Manifesto, webinars, all that sort of stuff. This guy here, I know it's showing off, but just we're going to finish at 9, by the way, so if you're looking at watches 10 to, we've got 10 minutes to go, and I'll make sure we don't run late. This guy owns a fencing business, and I think it's worth probably playing because he says some nice things.
I work at a company called AdFence, and we print shade cloth for construction companies to go on fencing. We started with JD about 3 months ago. He came and gave us his first ideas for our marketing. Our turnover is probably, in this first month of really talking about their promotions, doubled. You just institute the wow factor ideas and our turnover's doubled in a month. It is.
Okay, so therefore I'm not suggesting to you that I can guarantee that. I mean, someone comes up to me every now and again, oh, can you guarantee? No, I can't. You might have just got out of jail. I can't guarantee anything because you might sit on your hands and not do anything. If you don't do the Facebook ads, then I can't magically double your sales. But what happens with people like Simon, who is an entrepreneur, who does shit, if you get the roadmap and you join the dots, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get a pretty decent lift in business. We don't sort of see too many 10s or 15%. Normally they're 40s, 50s, 100s. Again, but I'm not standing here like a seminar wanker saying, oh, I can guarantee you, if you don't do anything, then of course it won't work. But if you go to the gym and you don't lift the weights, you won't get muscles. So in this program, I just want to whack through for you. These are, I'm not going to do the whole thing where I go through them individually. I'm just going to give you to the end of it. All that stuff that you got in that program comes up to being around about $30,000. Now what we normally do is that we sell it for $1,497 a month. So therefore, I'm sorry, my fault. I pressed the wrong button. You have to live with me whilst I go through this again. Can somebody give us some sound effects, maybe Sound of Music, something like that? Anybody? Good? Okay, not. Okay. So therefore, normally the membership is $14.97 a month by 12, which is what Daryl won. But what you do if you're going to hold an event like this and people give up 3 hours of the time of an evening, you should give a special deal. And I want to highlight, first of all, that this is not hypocritical because I've been standing here for almost 3 hours now saying to you, don't market on price, don't market on price, don't market on price. However, there are exceptions to that. And David Jones and Meyer have 2 exceptions. One's called a half-year sale to get rid of dead stock, and the other one is Boxing Day. So I'm not saying that you don't market on price. What I'm saying to you is that don't always market on price. Now, if you ask somebody to give up their evening and spend 3 hours with you, then you want to make sure you give them a special deal. So therefore, the deal for anyone who's interested in this tonight is not $14.97 a month, which is where the website, if you go to WOW Marketing Academy at the moment, so you know I'm not making it up, you'll see it's $1,497. What we do here tonight is give you the 12-month program for $4.97 a month, which is 2/3 discount of what the normal price is. But I want to make it clear so that I'm practicing what I preach. You knock on our door tomorrow, it's $14.97, okay? And you might say, well, I'll wait for you to do the next event. That's fine. I don't know when that'll be. We haven't got any planned. It might be next month, it might be 2 months, I don't know. But anyone outside the system pays $14.97. If you've given up an evening, you've come along here, then it's $4.97 a month by 12. And that's the Academy program, okay? If you wanted to pay up front, one payment up front, if you multiply 12 by $4.97, by the way, I'll do it for you. Over the year, you'd be paying $5,964, okay? So that's what it is over a year. If you wanted to pay up front tonight, then we'll give it to you for $1,000 off, which is $4,964. And you also get a call with me, okay? So therefore, in that program, we'll give you, if you want to pay up front tonight, a call with me. But who would like more? Who's seen that steak knives commercial? Anybody seen that? Yeah. I've got something pretty spectacular to give you. And I don't want to be too corny about this, but can you remember right from the start of tonight, I kept on saying you need a good something starts with W. You need a good website. And I was reasonably sharp-tongued when I said that most of you have not got a direct response website. In fact, some of you have got a website that I wouldn't even call a website. What we're going to do, but it's only tonight, okay? So if you want to run away, I've got to speak to the wife or the husband, that's fine. If you do that tomorrow, then you won't get this and you'll pay $14.97 if you want to join up. We will give you a free 6-page website, completely free 6-page website, and it will be direct response designed. And so therefore the homepage will be exactly what you've seen me put together here tonight for other businesses. This particular website, yes, is produced in the Philippines. You can't get this stuff done in Australia. If I was going to give this away for free in Australia, I mean, Darren, I don't know, what would your website cost you a few years ago there? Most are $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000, depending upon whether they got e-commerce, what have you. But can you remember what it would have been, mate?
I think it was around somewhere up to 10,000.
10,000. You got some e-commerce in there or not? Did have. Yeah. But what was it? What was it in general about?
Oh, it would have been. It was over.
Got a microphone, guys? Microphone.
It's all right. It was over 6,000. I know that.
Okay, yeah. Look, most of them that, and we have a number of our suppliers that will produce 6-page websites for $3,500 to $5,000, depending upon whether you want e-commerce, in there. And so, if anyone really wants to go down that path, then I'll introduce you to the people that do that for us. But I can provide a free 6-page website to you with this program because I'm getting it done in the Philippines. But it's being done in the Philippines to guess whose design. You see, I'm not a real fan of doing stuff in the Philippines if you ring up and the noise effect in the background is something like bah, bah. So therefore, I make sure that the people that we have doing this for me are following my instructions, okay, my design. So you get a pretty damn good website. Who thinks a free 6-page website that you normally would pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 is a pretty good deal? Yeah. Could I, maybe just for my ego, if nothing else, maybe a word that starts with W? Wow, okay, yeah, it is. It's at that hour of the night I'm becoming more corny. So that's the deal. The deal is that it's either $497 by 12. You will get the website, even if you sign up tonight and pay the $497, you will get the free 6-page website, okay? So therefore, it's not like you've got to pay the once-up payment and you only get it. The once-up payment will give you a $1,000 discount tonight, and you will get the call with me. And in that call, by the way, we send you out the questionnaire. You fill in the questionnaire so that when I'm on the call, I can say, look, I think you should do this, I think you should do that, I think you should do that. And chances are at the end of that call, I'll send you off a page which will basically give you a summary of the things that I am telling you to do. And what we do is we get your website underway pretty quick smart, because the thing is that you would get immediately, I mean, Jody, the actual website briefing form goes out with the enrolment form straight away, doesn't it? So therefore, you just fill in the briefing form for the website company, and then what happens is that they get your website. By the way, to give you an idea of how fast it works, you get... anybody here been frustrated with the ponytail website designers that might take maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to get back to you? Anybody been through that? Okay. This website is normally the first draft you get within 5 to 10 days. And then the website's generally finished within the 3 weeks or 4. It just depends if you hold up a bit of the info. Obviously, they're not mind readers. But, generally speaking, you'll find that you have your website within a month, which is like a vastly different story to the nightmare that a lot of people go through with the websites. Okay, who would be interested in talking to me about this anyway afterwards? Just give us a... And Jody, can you just... If you hand those forms out so at least they come and talk to me afterwards, okay? So just keep your hand up if you're interested in talking to me about that, and Jody will hand the form out. Now, anybody who's interested in the private program, private coaching program, then just see us at the back of the room, and what we'll do is organising a call throughout the week. So therefore, because the private coaching program has got a lot more bells and whistles, because I become your quasi-marketing manager, but it's a few grand a month, it's $2,997 a month, nothing's ever thrown, then obviously we'd like to have a call so at least you feel comfortable about it. So therefore, don't worry. I mean, if you fill in the form tonight that you're interested in that private coaching program, you'll still get the bells and whistles. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, private coaching also gets a free website. So please understand that it's not like we give the actual academy people the free website, but everyone else in the private program has to pay for one. You get a free website with the $3,000 a month program. So why am I giving away the free website? Anyone want to have a bit of a... Aside from it being a wow factor and the Happy Meal toy, because that's what I've been preaching, who thinks strategically there might be a reason why I'm giving away a free website? Anybody want to have a shot at that for $1 million?
If you want anything in marketing to work, you need that website.
Bingo, $1 million, okay? I have been in this for a while now, and I know that if I give you all of the good stuff in terms of a marketing plan or marketing strategies, but you've still got a shit website, guess what? You're going to come back at me in 3 months' time or 4 months' time going, oh, JD, it's not really what you said it would be, And I go, yes, because you never changed your website. And so it's really been quite a learning curve for me. And Simon, you'd go through this too with your coaching with, people in the real estate game. It is your director of first impressions. It's the make or break of your damn business. So what I said to my crew, listen, because I don't make anywhere near the margin that I should out of the, this here, either $5,000 or $6,000. I'm not making a massive margin out of that in the first year because I'm giving you a damn website. And you know that whilst I might not be paying $4,000 or $5,000 for it, I'm still paying a few dollars for it. I'm hoping that if I can fix your sales as quickly as possible by having a website really quickly done, you're going to stick around for a second year. Simon's on his second year. So that's what I'm trying to do. I want continuity because I tell you what, it's a hell of a lot easier to keep people on than to fill these rooms all the time and do this sort of stuff, okay? So that's it, guys. Well, listen, if you were really... Well, can I just ask, is there anybody that would be game enough to grab the microphone and just tell me what you thought of this evening? Anybody want to say something? It's 9 o'clock. We're wrapping up in the next 2 minutes, but my ego needs a bit of stroking. So anybody, maybe if you put your hand up, what's the one major thing that you took out of the evening? Please, even if you're a relative of mine, could you please put your hand up? Come on, somebody. Darren, yeah, good on you, mate. Come.
Look, I'll be looking for something in our marketing because obviously you can see it sucks. We know it does, we just don't know how to fix it. So what I got out of tonight is the direct marketing, but I'm still confused, and I will talk to you later about our customer and how to get them because they're, like I suppose you hear it a lot, they're very defined. And they're hard to find.
No, and Darren, look, there's not too many people. I mean, the cafe people would be different because they'd say, look, anyone with a pulse, all right? But in your instance, we get that all the time, and that is, look, they're hard to find. Decision makers are hard to find, and I'm not denying that they are harder than the cafe people, where they can, obviously serve anyone a coffee, but there's ways and means to do that.
Yeah, but the thing is, our customers, one customer's worth $1 million.
There you go. There you go. And so I'll give you the numbers for tonight. How my numbers work. I spend $200 a day on Facebook for 30 days to fill this room. Okay, so there's about, 80, 90, 100 in the room. So $200 a day by 30 days is $6,000. And if I want to at any time turn it up a bit, like in the last week, if I want another 20 or 30 people there, I might throw another $100 a day at it, so it might bump up to $3,000. But I just checked with my Facebook guy this afternoon, and Jody, you would have seen the email. I said to Mitch, what did we spend on Facebook over the last 6,100, wasn't it? And this room here, what does that cost, Jody? $2,000 or $3,000? What does it cost?
Yeah, a little closer to 3.
Sorry?
A little closer to 3.
You realise Jody's answering me, but she's got the microphone in her hand? Oh, okay, good. Oh, God, I've just wound her up. God almighty. God, she goes nuts. So about how much?
A little closer to $3,000.
Okay, so therefore, let's say the whole thing cost me $10,000. The whole thing here to fill this room tonight cost me $10,000 with me coming out to do the song and dance. How many of these do I have to sell to break even? 2. You see, so therefore, if I get 2 or 3 private clients out of this tonight, there's $60,000 or $90,000, whatever it is, something of that nature, or 36, whatever it is. Then if I get another 6 or 7 of the $5,000 or $6,000 break, it's been $100,000 a night in 3 hours. See, so the thing is, and I'm not saying in 3 hours, I'm going to be helping you for a year. Okay, so I'm not saying, oh, you got that money for 3 hours. But what I'm saying is that that's the mechanics of this if you get the Facebook thing right and you get your web page right. If you've got a bad website, doesn't matter how clever you are at doing all of this lead gen, if they come onto a website and it's ugly and it doesn't have these direct response components, then you've just pissed money up against the wall. And if I just leave you with this, what you've seen here tonight, I mean, I don't know how many seminars you've been to, but I doubt very much whether toward the end of the seminar any of the speakers have been as transparent as this. Has anybody told you what their numbers are? Doesn't normally happen, okay? And I don't know why, because I'm here to inspire you to do the same thing. You might not, don't do a breakfast, okay, and do not ever join a Chamber of Commerce, run 1,000,000 miles away from those people, they are evil. I'm joking. But normally what happens to the Chamber of Commerce is that you're just at the interesting part. I scared you then, didn't I? And the lady down the back will go, excuse me, we've got to draw the raffle to give away the bottle of red wine. Excuse me, I've just got 5 minutes to get, doesn't matter. Everyone's got to get back to work. So what you should do is never, ever think, I mean, tell me, anybody here joined the Chamber of Commerce and got great value out of it? Anybody? I haven't met anyone, because normally they just get there and swap business cards and have a little bit of, I don't know, eggs. You don't want people around at breakfast time because they've got to get at work at 9 o'clock. And you don't want to do any lunches because they've got to get back to work. We've held, I think, about 95% of the room here at 9 o'clock. We went from 6 through to 9. Because hopefully the content's good and the dad jokes are reasonable. But you can stay because, you can. But you won't be able to do that at breakfast and you can't do it at lunch. So if you're going to hold events like this, just do nighttime events, okay? Bit of a tip. And keep in mind what you can do, and it might work in Darren's instance because these people might be time poor and they're really hard to get off their backsides and come to something like this. You might care to think about webinars. And if I can just ask you before we leave, who in the room has tested webinars? Okay, well, Simon would have. You've got to seriously consider about that because these people might be time poor and it might be a 20-minute webinar by Darren to get them across the line, or it might be, in Darren's instance, something like this video book that I played you before. So therefore, he's got to get through the gatekeeper to get to the decision maker, and this sort of thing here could be just the cut through that he needs, okay? Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you coming. I'll answer your question individually about your thing if you want to talk to me later on. It's just that when we get caught up too long on one business, you can imagine everyone else is wanting to stab me through the eye with a pencil. So thanks, guys, for coming. And if you wanted to talk to us and you want to join up tonight, then those deals are there with the free website. Just hand the note in to Jody and then we'll get things underway. Jody, just one thing. You've got the microphone on. If they hand the form in to you tonight, when do you send off the enrolment and all that?
I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay, you wouldn't do that tonight because you're an alcoholic, of course. She wants to get to the bar. So that'll be done in the morning. I'm sorry for bringing up that private problem, but you said that was you said that was confidential.
I need it because I work with you.
Good, okay, good sledge back. And by the way, something that I should do, all jokes aside, can you put your hands together for Jody because she helps putting this whole thing together. And also for the sound and the camera guys with everything else, if you can just put your hand together for not as much as Jody, but okay? Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. All the best. We'll talk to you later.